The herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Peace on earth and mercy mild, God and sinners reconciled. Joyful all ye nations rise, join the triumph of the skies. With the angelic hearts proclaim, Christ is born in Bethlehem. Hark, the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Christ the highest heaven adored, Christ the everlasting Lord. Late in time, behold him come, offspring of a virgin's womb. Veiled in flesh, the Godhead see, hail the incarnate deity. Pleased as man with man to dwell, Jesus our Emmanuel. Hark, the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Hail the heavenly son of peace, hail the Son of righteousness. Light and life to all he brings, risen with it in his wings. Mount he lays his glory by, born that man no more may die. Born to raise the sons of earth, born to give the second birth. Hark, the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Glory to the newborn King.
Whoop whoop, everyone. Merry Christmas to one and all. God bless us. Everyone except those who do not want to join in the C Nation. Hustlety, loyal respect, everyone. That's the Christmas spirit. Hi, friends.
That's the idea.
Merry Christmas to everybody. God bless us, everyone. Where's my music? I forgot to put my other music on. What's up, guys?
Got the Skyrim music.
Merry
Skyrim
Christmas.
music. Playing the Skyrim music. Everyone will recognize this song as the song that plays when you get nakedly chased through the forest by a pack of wolves in Skyrim.
That is. I mean, it happened to me just the other day outside of Riverwood.
Happens to the best of us. Happens to the best of us. And nothing brings me to the Christmas spirit quite like replaying Skyrim.
I mean, it does. It's got everything. It's got the cold
Mammoths.
weather.
It's got giants.
It's got
yeah.
Nords. Yeah, it's like Santa's friggin' workshop.
What would you guys do to Santa if you had him alone in a room? Would you sit on his lap?
Would you red pill
Would
him?
he sit on your lap?
Would you red pill him?
No, I will take his identity.
Well, you have to eat
I would-
Santa's heart to do that.
You're
I
gonna become
will,
a Santa
yes,
Walker.
yeah. I would like. It would be like that phrase, Yakov, like you say, like two men are on the couch.
Two men and one
Well,
jar.
Two men. Not that one.
Yeah.
But the one about the dying and something. You know.
Two men sit on the couch. One lives and one dies. They're both you! It's both you!
But the other one's Santa, and I'm about to simulate his identity into my own.
Stimulate his prostanity.
I've become Santa.
Tiny
Oh,
penis,
word.
giant prostate. Picture that. Just picture that.
Giant penis. No. I was thinking it backwards. It was a
You had it all
tiny
fucked
penis,
up, dude. I don't know what that was about.
Giant penis and small prostate.
No. Weakest race. Weakest race.
The weakest race.
Merry Christmas to everyone in chat. We got Midwest Vikinger, whoop whoop, Plunid Zero out there, my fellow wizards and tinfoil heads! Skyrim has a Christmas mod. No, you take the mods off of it to play Christmas.
Yeah, that's the standard.
Skinwalker
Configuration.
Santa. Surprise stream. That's right, they're all surprise streams now. Because I just do what I want. YKG, glad to see you. Yeah, I'm glad to see you as well, dude. Merry Christmas to everyone.
Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas.
I want to do more of this, but I don't want to do the same old format. I'm tired of these guys over here.
Fuck you, Yakov. I am the show. I end the show with
They
my
fuck up my
spotty
old
ass
performance art,
It is
dude.
bacon frying
Yeah.
microphone. Bacon frying.
He's wearing a shawl.
It's prayer shawl.
Yes,
That's
I'm
true,
doing-
dude.
Yeah, I'm wearing the what was it, the prayer
He's wearing a job.
I'm wearing the prayer rug.
We're-
Afterwards, I'll play
Chris Chan.
I'll play solitaire on it after I'm done.
He's wearing Chris Chan's prayer rug.
It's Christmas, boys. There's presents behind me.
got
Not for any of
this
you
nerd-
motherfuckers.
Your mic's not on, bud. Well, not in the Discord.
What? Talking to me?
Yes.
What?
Yes, I'm talking to you, wiener ass boy.
What'd you say?
I said your video is not on.
Oh, I know it's
Yeah.
not. I can't. I'm sorry. I can only use my camera on one source at a time. Right now, it's dedicated to OBS.
Yes, sir.
You're just gonna have to work with me. Imagine I held up a present.
Yes, sir.
It's easy.
We're using our third eye.
There's a bomb
To
in the
perceive.
present. There's a bomb in the present.
All right, guided meditation time. Guys, guided meditation.
Let's get off the
Yeah,
bomb topic and start meditating. We're gonna talk about Jesus. Everybody put on 432 hertz meditation music and read the Bible.
Yeah, envision Yakov
Jesus
standing in a room. He holds a box in his hand. Within C4 explosives.
See,
Is that all you got? I want a briefcase with a clock in it, but it's also a bomb. Then I'm invited to the White House, and I take the bomb out. I go there with no bomb. Just no bomb. I would never, dude. It's a cool clock, Ahmed.
it's a
No,
cool,
but like
cool clock.
it's not just like any sort of bomb. Now it's an intangible bomb. It's a bomb of the mind.
It's a mind
Now,
bomb.
When Yakov says the trigger word, that's when the bomb goes off within
You can
your
say
mind.
Trigger word.
The trigger word. Trigger.
Where was I going with all this? So, all of that nonsense you were saying reminded me of some nonsense I was thinking. I was going off the
What?
cuff here, and I was kind of just making shit up. Maud might be the guy to correct me on this if I'm wrong, but I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong. Now, we were talking about the flagellants. The people who would beat themselves, like whip themselves, you know, because they loved Jesus that much.
Yeah.
Everyone with me?
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
it is. I posit that they did not whip themselves.
Who did
They
the
were
whipping?
whipping Jesus. As far as their will and intention goes, is because they saw themselves as the same as him. And if God suffers, they suffer. What?
Well, it was more of the take to it was like everything in Christianity. It was communal. So sometimes they would get into like a Congo line.
Do you not do this for the ecstasy that it brings?
No.
Are you serious?
There's a few Christian saints who like walked barefoot over ice and
You're telling me a
Put
group of people
pebbles.
don't get together communally. They get together communally and beat the shit out of themselves. And you're telling me they're not reaching an ecstatic state.
I know,
I-
like the
they are.
I'm
they
a-
need to be because
Eastern Orthodox
what
likes
the
to do.
flagellants. What the flagellants were basically crusaders a lot of the times. They would whip themselves all the way to the Holy Land, or whip themselves.
Why
to
do that
the
unless
place
you're
of pilgrimage.
identifying with the Lord?
Yeah.
It
Sometimes
is that
you just do be like
identification.
that.
That's what
I mean,
Mr.
that's-
Eckhart would have said about Christmas. That you beat yourselves with a stick.
Merry Christmas. Beat yourself with a fucking stick.
What you do is you take
That's your
a
Christmas
paddle
gifts this year?
and you
I think
in the face.
I do think that for a lot of the esotericism of Christianity is really held right there is to like
To pick
to
up your
become,
cross?
like,
follow
to pick up your
him?
cross, become the personification of Christ.
Yeah,
To go through he went through.
He said,
Yeah.
I being you, that we may be one in the Father.
There's like
Yeah, but like that
Some of his
idea
followers
is
were called
also-
his twins. They weren't
that
born of Mary.
That's where the first phrase of the gospel. I mean, like the gospel of Thomas is referring to
Interesting.
like the twin. Yeah, that's if we could bring it up. Do you have it, Yakov? I'll pull it up.
Probably. It's not hard to find. I'll promise you that. I'm trying here. What do you want from me?
Yeah, it's gonna take me a little bit to bring it up.
Yeah, I know how bringing it up works.
Jamie, bring that up.
Pull it up.
I can't bring in the boys inside.
Pull it up. Just someone pull this shit up already. I got it. Control F twin because Flame said it was a thing. 0 results. Pfft. That's what happens. I don't know. That's what happens when you listen to a shaman.
Sometimes the spirits.
Hold on.
But everyone just stop streaming for a minute while Flame figures this out.
I think we need to remember the reason for the season and put the ass back in Christmas!
I'll do my AVGN bit, dude. AVGN at the Nativity. I meant to shoot this. I never got around to it, dude. He walks up and he's like,
What child is this? This is shit!
Why are there animals here? This place smells like ass.
We brought you gold and frankincense and myrrh and That's my favorite thing about the Nativity story is that Jesus was born in a manger, in like a cave with a bunch of animals, with a bunch of shit and piss around him. It's true. It's true. But there's a reason for all of these things. It's not like it just happened. Like, dude, he was born in... This is God being born into the material world, bro.
Yeah.
Animals and feces. That's what he did because he loved us that much.
Okay. All right. So, like the Gospel of Thomas, these are the secret sayings in which the living Jesus spoke, and which I'm maybe butchering this word, but this word is very important. Diimos. I probably said that.
Who the fuck knows? Nobody knows.
What?
Chat doesn't know.
That Greek word is translated to twin. That Judas Thomas wrote down. So Judas Thomas is the twin.
Yes. This is where things get very strange. Because when you look into like who the siblings of Jesus might be, you'll see a lot of names. You see James, you see Jude, and you also see Judas in there. And that's the thing is, man, when you read these stories, straight up when you read the Bible, it's like, wow, a lot of these people have the same names. They do. They did. A lot of these were normal names at the time that a lot of people had. So it gets very confused when you start to try to figure this out. Like, first of all, you'll have this list of names, and okay, so these are probably the siblings of Jesus, or whatever. There is no solid evidence for any of them. Yet you can probably assume that there's something to it. I kind of do think that James and Jude were probably half siblings or younger siblings of Jesus.
Yeah.
But then when they're throwing around brother and twin all the time, it just gets so confusing.
Well, I think it's like it may have more of a symbolic meaning, as in twin, as in they.
I knew that we may be one in the Father. We are the same.
Yeah, and it's like a kindred spirit. Like they have that. They have a divine spark with.
Okay, we know what brother means when we use that symbolically.
So
Twin is saying we are exactly the same.
Christ has nothing
Like we also have stories.
You're getting fucking steamrolled, Mud, because your mic's not loud enough, and I don't know what to tell you.
Everybody.
Turn that bitch on.
I have you all the way up.
No, but go on, Mom. What were you saying?
So Christ is two natures in Christianity. Let me pull this up.
Correct. We can see this symbolized even in the gifts of the Magi. Gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Gold being symbolic of worldly power, being like a king. The
Yeah,
frankincense
yeah.
being symbolic of priestship. And then the myrrh was used in embalming and funeral rites. I don't know exactly how all that worked, but that's what all the information I find says. So that there's even a
heard, like,
prophecy in
myrrh,
those
like-
gifts.
Heard like it kept like bodies from stinking or something.
Yeah, that's what embalming is.
Yeah,
Stanking.
stinking.
We also have stories. Well, in the Bible itself, they come to Christ and they're like, there's an individual in another village too over. He's doing the same thing you doing. He's doing all this stuff. Should we go out and stop him? Should we say confront him? And he says no. Because like they're both doing God's work.
Yeah.
You could take that idea of, like that is his twin out there doing God's work.
Well, I think
what-
the way to look at it is that every single person is a reflection of you. The things you admire in other people are the things you admire in yourself. The things you hate in other people are things you hate in yourself. So the key is to treat everyone as if they were you, and that's not to say to fucking coddle everybody. Like, there are times in my life where, dude, if I couldn't get through my shit myself, then I should have be put down like a dog. And, that's how some people deserve to be treated, and that's how I would treat myself in that situation.
Sure.
So that's the thing, is that everybody is a mirror. We're all one. We're all subjective pieces of an objective reality. And, like, I don't know, there's a lot of ways to come to terms with that. And, like, the fact is, like, good and evil are subjective. My good could be someone else's evil. Do you know what I mean? Like, there could be someone who deserves to get their head stomped in. And to me, that's good. To them, that's very evil. But the real play of creation is when, like, that evil comes together, when they meet, when they confront, and then God uses it as a dance unto himself. When you have two armies, like, both sides think they're justified, like, that's their duty to fight. They are soldiers doing someone's will. It's what they're there for. Now it's doing God's will at this point.
Yeah.
It's in God's hands.
Yeah. I think that's like really driven home, like not in the Bible, but like in the Bhagavad Gita.
It's a reference to the Bhagavad Gita, essentially.
Yeah, basically.
Well, the
like,
Bhagavad Gita is all about killing the godless atheists who want to bring your family into your religion.
Well, I don't know that it's
That's-
quite that simple. There is that aspect.
That's the beauty. No, that's the he said he's telling the truth. Yakov, you're on another level, and Maud, you're on another level. But
I think, but I look at it like this, though. Look at it like this. If you are in
Multi-layered.
like a small town, and it is multi-layered like that. I don't disagree with what you're saying. But I think there is a deeper meaning. Like, I've used this example before. Like, what if you're living in a small town with a shitty government? They're evil. They suck. But you're just in some small town. They're not helping you. You're doing your thing. And then another kingdom invades your nation. And philosophically, what they are doing is correct, maybe you see it and you like think it's justified. Well, the army coming in is probably not going to be nice to your little village. You know what I mean? People are going to die. Women might get raped. So what is it? Do you not fight because they're justified? No, you fight. You fight them. You play the dance because it's your duty. Your duty is to protect your family and your land. Right? And it doesn't matter if from someone's view you're fighting for the wrong side. It doesn't matter at that point. The right thing is to fight.
And then there's an objective right or wrong, good or evil, then, because you're doing what is required of you.
I agree. I'm just saying it's subjective. Depends what side of the fucking fence you're on. And
Well,
I think they can both be right.
No, there's an objective reality beyond the two of you. That means there's
Not one that's going to be rectified by the time this conflict occurs.
Right.
Probably, yeah.
And both the king who
I-
decides to do a just thing in invading another country, is equally justified as the peasant who kills the invader coming onto his land. They're equally justified. That is God's play.
Yeah.
But unbeknownst to both sides, there's an objective reality beyond that.
I agree. I just don't think it's
There's an
like
objective what?
it's not practically tangible. It's when you're going about your day, it's fleeting.
Not there.
It's always fleeting.
That's crazy because like I ate some mushrooms earlier and I got in a real dark headspace thinking about like all that shit you were just saying. How we have the higher intangible like forces like you know having power over people, like having I don't even know how to even wrap my head around it right now because it's just like
I mean, going back
oh,
on topic a little bit, when we're talking about like understanding
yeah.
of objective reality, I think Jesus is the clear example of a person who understood objective reality.
Yeah.
He always had the right thing to say, the right thing to do. He healed the sick. He did everything right. Like, that is understanding objective reality, and that's just not most people's existence. And the key is to approximate that in all your doings, all your deeds, everything you do. But very few people get very close, at least in this lifetime.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, it's true.
You know, it's like breaking free from the other people's grasp and like listening to your own voice. Not listening to your own voice because like I feel like through listening to your own voice you could actually find
Dog, there are two wolves inside of you. What? Legit though, you have the divine and you have the animal. They're always talking in different ways, constantly.
Yeah, and
they get confusing. You mix them up sometimes. It happens.
But that's the thing. Like sometimes people don't even get to see the tools inside them because like they have all these other people, like other forces, like in their ears, like manipulating them, talking.
These are all weaknesses of the self. At the end of the day,
it is, and it's like a lot. It's rampant. It's everybody. Almost everybody has suffered through it at one point in their lives. And like breaking free from that, and then like dealing with the two wolves inside. See, it's an eternal fight constantly because it's like we have all these like myths and all these gods, and they're always depicted with swords and weapons and stuff like that, and we kind of think like oh, a tangible battlefield, but no, the battlefield is constantly within our mind and our souls.
This is one thing when people ask me why the Bhagavad Gita is relevant, and like I'll explain to them like the battlefield, and it's all very interesting, and that does it for some people. But if that's not it, the battlefield is your mind.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's another layer in the Bhagavad Gita because what Maud said is correct. That's a physical world application of it. But what if I told you the Bhagavad Gita, that battlefield that they were on, another layer was onto it. Now, all that battlefield was actually within Arjun's mind. And it was not all those people that he was fighting was not all the other people. It was like his egos. Like every
morality,
like
the illusion that there's anything other than one.
Yes, all of those things, and he has to fight all of those things, so he could become one.
This would work if it doesn't open as a narrative piece, because it's being told by someone else to the king.
Oh, that's the thing about it. It's
right.
The thing about scripture is like it's like there's
you got some kings in your mind trying to call
it.
shots, dude. You got powers in your mind.
Who are related to Vishnu, who are related to.
When you read like the commentaries on this stuff, it is on
Yes.
both levels every time. Always.
I'm
They
not
do
saying
not.
though-
They
I'm
never
not
leave
saying-
this part out that we're talking about. They never
not
do.
saying-
It's not just only physical. It's like there's a lot of metaphysical things that are happening like beyond the book itself. Like that things that it's not going to tell you.
That is the key when you're looking at scriptures. If you're looking at a story and you're only getting one meaning out of it, you ain't finished.
Definitely. That's what I'm saying. Like that's why.
There's a reason these things have been around for thousands of years.
Yeah, that's why I say like to some people is like some people like spend their whole lives reading the Bible and it's they still don't get it.
Jerry in the chat is
No.
dying for me to say Merry Christmas. I said it. I put it on the screen. Come on, guy. You think there's a war on Christmas in here? Here's the worst part is that I was at work the other day and some lady said Happy Holidays and a guy turned around and was like, it's Merry Christmas. And it's like,
Merry Christmas.
I don't know if that's based anymore. That just might be like the other version.
Aggressive and
I don't know.
angry.
Like, what the fuck?
It's like it's just.
I
you're
lost
just
the plot
fucking
at this point. He's
angry,
yelling
man.
old ladies now. I don't understand.
Yeah, brother.
Owning the lives by yelling at elderly.
Owning the lives by yelling at elderly people. Owning the lives by beating the shit out of elderly people in a nursing home.
Dog, I will not yell at the old lady in reindeer antlers on Christmas Eve. I won't do it. No matter what the circumstance is, I'm basically just not gonna do it.
I would check that guy's privilege and be like, yeah, well, Kwanzaa is right after Christmas, asshole, and I.
Happy Hanukkah.
Hey, we're celebrating Kwanzaa at my house.
Harambe! Love Kwanzaa. I love that Kwanzaa is still like remembered. Nobody's ever celebrated Kwanzaa in history. And like, we all know it. We're all aware. I'm so glad it survived.
Well, bless the heart of that guy who started it because like he had no
Marcus Garvey?
No, it was like some college professor or something, right?
I don't fucking
That's
know. Why the it was Harambe, I think. That was his name. He was the smartest gorilla I've ever known, dude.
And the death of Harambe was christened on Kwanzaa.
That was what,
Where he gave his life.
when he was the Messiah of Kwanzaa.
He gave his life.
He gave his-
The guy who was fucking who was pulling the trigger that day at the zoo, it was his job with the gun. Fucking
He was
dude.
Judas.
This gorilla sucks ass!
I can't even begin to pronounce his name.
I'll never forget Yak's story about the fucking opiate backer that was obsessed with Harambe.
He shot Harambe for 30 shekels of silver.
For 30 seconds.
He later hung
God.
himself because of with the guilt.
Probably shouldn't be fucking around in Discord. Hold up, everybody. Jerry wants on, dude. Jerry wants on, bro.
Jerry,
What do I
haven't
do?
seen
How
that
do I
dude in
work
fucking
OBS? It's
forever.
been so fucking long.
Came in here.
So
So apparently,
Harambe.
Kwanzaa was-
Hold up. Are you? What if I stream to the fucking Facebook page?
That's fine. That's cool, dude. He wants the DC. What does the DC mean? I thought.
what do you think they
Oh,
shot
so
Harambe
it-
with?
okay, I get it.
What
I get
kind of
it.
gun do you
I'm just a boomer.
Glock.
Why didn't they show
19.
the fucking gun they shot Harambe?
I would use a
with?
Ripper gun, dude.
What?
The
Nail
fucking-
gun.
Okay, there we
Nail
go. Move to. Merry Christmas, Jerry! It's a Christmas
Howdy,
miracle!
fellas.
It's a Christmas miracle.
God bless us!
How are y'all doing, fellas?
Great,
Merry
dude.
Christmas.
Indeed, it
Merry
is a merry
Christmas.
one.
Merry Christmas.
When the friends we hold dear come close for
It's early.
for
It's
the
early.
holiday.
But it's
It is.
it's one of them nights.
It's
one of the
one of
one of
them
them
crazy old nights.
you know, no, I just got off of a long shift of yelling at the elderly.
Dude, this guy
Being
yelling
angry
at
the
this old
Postmaster
lady
General.
at my fucking job. You wouldn't believe. First he got fucking carded when he tried to buy a pack of cigarettes, and then he dropped about 1,000 f-bombs. Why did Jerry do this? I don't know.
Look,
Then as Jerry was walking out the door, she said "Happy Holidays," and he was like, "It's Happy fucking Hanukkah."
she was lucky I didn't have my concealed carry permit on me.
Blasted both antlers right off her head, dude. You're lucky I missed, bitch.
I'd take them right off her fucking minivan.
That's like the worst flex, is putting fucking like reindeer shit on your fucking car. I hate that.
Dude,
I hate
dude,
it's
yeah,
that's
like-
the worst Christmas tradition.
When they
All
put the
the
fucking
icy
when they put the nose on the emblem, you know?
Yeah, what's it gonna look like when you're in a
That's the
car wreck
worst.
on Christmas Eve and
That's
your
the
family gets
worst.
the fucking call that you're fucking ripped, dude, and they go see that wreck and it's just from Rudolph.
They get the call you're
Rudolph.
wrecked. You're wrecked.
I don't want to say it too darkly. It's Christmas. God damn it.
Mm. Just barely.
You're right.
It's Christmas.
You're right.
It's Christmas, guys.
It's a Christmas
What do you think?
miracle.
I do have content for tonight. We didn't get to it yet. Like,
So apparently, the guy who started Kwanzaa was imprisoned over charges of assault and like torture.
Wow.
okay. I mean, well, I'm not gonna write him off just
That's-
yet.
That's surprising. I never
For-
thought
for
someone
what
who would
nation?
make up a holiday would be a criminal as well.
Look, dude. A lot of my favorite people are criminals.
Mine too. Most people who make holidays are criminals.
That's
The-
true,
the-
dude. Jesus was a
Actually-
criminal. I don't know if
Actually-
anyone realized this.
Actually, name me one holiday where the starter of it wasn't a criminal by the state's definition.
The woman described
Martin
having
Luther King's
been
birthday, but only because he worked for the CIA.
or-
But I thought they killed him. Now I'm gonna convert you
They
to an
can do both.
They could
You
do
can't
both,
leave
yeah.
that club, dude.
Yeah, but which one's the criminal?
This is my
Fine,
point about
fine.
subjectivity. This is exactly
Yeah.
my point.
Wow. I wish I was Jesus and I knew the right thing to say.
My point they were both wrong and also right. Simple.
Wow.
Simple.
That's the, you know.
Big brain. Think big.
Bigfoot, like big
Big
brain.
foot, big brain. You
yeah,
get it.
Yeah. You know what they say about big socks? Big brain.
Big fucking MP3 files.
They say uncompressed audio.
Uncompressed audio.
Oh, should I get into content? Is that even worth doing, or should we just keep
Yeah.
talking about shaman
Yeah.
stuff? This is supposed to be celebrating the birth of Jesus. Jerry's real
celebrate-
worried about Merry Christmases over here. How much do you love Jesus?
At least 10, maybe 11.
See, this guy, I'm not really sold that he's actually a Jesus fan. I'm like his number
Hey.
one fan. I'm his top.
I'm not
guy.
dude, I'm not number one, that's for certain.
Top 10.
No, I'm saying on like a sliding scale. I'm like a 10. Maybe an 11. I mean, like, that's high, but I
He's
think
10
there's
on
many-
the Rolling Stone list of top Jesus followers.
I think there's quite a few, like, 15s and 16s out there.
I feel like I am his number one fan. And
Most people who
You
feel
would go
that
to
way.
bat for him?
here's the thing: that is no, that his.
No, you wouldn't. You didn't even yell at an old lady for saying Happy Holidays. You're not. You're
But
not even
my
in the top-
holidays are always happy, though. I don't disagree inherently.
Yeah, but the guy wasn't talking about fucking Halloween or Thanksgiving.
Should have been, dude. Remember Halloween? It was awesome. We used to have Halloweens together.
We used to.
Come not to bring
Halloweenist.
peace, but the sword.
Yeah, you're gonna stab an old lady on my stream. Come on,
Yeah.
dude. Settle
Hey,
down.
come on now. I don't
Yeah,
use
she
knives.
has to be beheaded.
Punishing
Look,
old lady.
I've been watching a lot of Johnny Cash Christmas specials, and the most important thing about it, he walks out and, "Hello, I'm Johnny Cash," and then he's like, "Get down on your fucking knees and praise Jesus." And that's how the whole fucking show goes. It's great. And then they'll be like, "Hey kids, we're gonna have a song for the kids. Come on, children, come out for the song for the children." And they're like,
hurt
"Tell the devil he's a
myself.
queer. Tell the devil he's a queer, 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 queer."
Dude, if I saw the devil, I'd call him a queer.
Me too. I'd probably like. I'd call him.
If I saw the devil, you know what I'd do, fellas? I'd flip him off.
Flip him off. Just shoot him the bird.
I'd shoot him double birds. Okay.
Oh hell yeah!
I'd shoot him double birds and moon him. That's what I'd do to the devil.
I was born in a manger. What? With donkeys? What? With goats? What? Cattle? What?
I'd raise his ass.
Get out of here, devil.
Get out.
You're not welcome around these.
Magi,
parts,
what?
buddy.
Like, what if you try to molest the devil? Like,
That'd be queer.
That's the trick of the devil, is that you
Oh,
think you're
that's-
molesting him and he molested you.
That's the strangest thing in the world.
It's called a mental molestation.
I meant to molest.
It's true.
Uh,
Yeah, we can get to content. Stop being sacrilegious. And now here's the thing: I don't think I'm being sacrilegious. I say everything I'm saying with intent. dude.
Hey,
It's
we're
everyone else
you know,
who calls me these things.
we're having a good time.
Yeah,
But I just wanted to hop in and tell you fellas, I'm thinking about you. Wanted to say Merry Christmas, but I'm gonna
Thinking
hit the
about you
hay
too.
before Santa scares me. I don't want to get
Santa
scared.
violated the NAP.
Yeah, you better go
Yeah,
to bed before
yeah,
the angry video
yeah.
game nerd comes down your fucking chimney and leaves you.
Because I'll tell you
shitty
what,
NES
if I
titles.
like, if he just violates the NAP while I'm asleep, I'll let it slide. But if I'm awake, something's got to be
Look,
done.
dude, he can violate the NAP, but if
know.
he violates the AVGN, we have a real problem.
The AVGN, LGBTQ, AARP.
Yeah. Peace to the world and death to all those involved in AVGN marriages.
Olive. But yeah, fellas, I just wanted to say Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
I'll be talking to y'all.
Yeah,
So
dude.
Hey,
Merry Christmas, dude.
y'all take it easy.
That was Jerry, everybody. Let's hear a round of applause for Jerry. Thanks.
Woohoo! Hey! I'm like when what was that dude's name? That wrestler that came back. I'm like Jake the
one?
Snake coming
Oh,
back.
dude.
for,
So you're clean?
for,
You're sober is what you're telling me?
No, I just bought a snake.
He
is
was
all I
lying too.
trying to
Don't
say.
worry.
All I was saying was I bought a snake.
But that is pretty cool. Post pics of Snake when you get the time.
I'm not sending dick pics. Doish. All right, I'll see
Snake
you
pics.
guys later.
Snake Biden! I know who my vote's going to.
Snake Biden. Forgot about Snake Biden.
How can you forget, dude? There's a picture of him with the Christmas tree. He's on a ladder.
I
Joe
saw
Biden
it.
or whatever, standing
Yeah.
below. What he doesn't realize is that he's about to hit a fucking sweet swanton bomb for the 3 count, dude. Off the ladder, by God!
Those guys that fucking made that shitty oh god, I forget the channel name on YouTube. They make shitty meme videos. Well, they made one where like Joe
Yeah, been
Biden
there.
fucking raps and it's great. Need to post it.
We got Buzz in the chat. Merry Christmas, Buzz. Lemon in the chat. Super late stream. We get Gnostic up in here. Incredibly tasteful background music and setting. Here's the question. Let's get into the Gnostic question right now. Let's knock that out. And then we can, as we go on, we'll close with all the serious Jesus business. So I've been thinking about Gnosticism lately, and this is my thing. It's always my thing. And when I'm talking about these ancient religions, half the time I'm talking about I'm right out of my ass. Basically out of my ass. But here's the thing. The kingdom is found within, dude. That's what Jesus said. And now I do believe I am a psychopath who thinks he communicates with God. I'm sorry, everybody. It's just true. But now, like, when I look at Gnosticism, people always want to know, like, what's the deal with the demiurge? It gets real convoluted. People are like, okay, the Old Testament God's the bad guy, New Testament God's the good guy. Jesus came to rectify that, but it doesn't really clarify what the hell is going on. People are still really confused. I am at the point where I think the term Gnosticism, is kind of like a misnomer often, and it's just like a way too general, like at best, really. I find that a lot of these texts that are grouped together as Gnostic scriptures often have nothing to do with each other. The only thing they had in common was that they were found within the general proximity of one another. But I think this is what is kind of more likely here is that Christianity in its early days was far more diverse than anyone realizes. I think the Gnostic term was kind of put onto a lot of weird things that were going on in Christianity, anything Rome kind of didn't like at the time. That's the vibe I'm getting when I'm reading the text. You can get really convoluted. The Gnostic stuff can get really complex. And this is the stuff most people don't really know, is when you start talking about, like, the layers of heaven, when you start talking about the Barbelo, when you're talking about, like, the name of the Demiurge and all of that stuff. That stuff seems to come from all later texts, yet they group the Gospel of Thomas in with these Gnostic texts. When I read it, there's nothing particularly Gnostic about it. Now, you can say that there is a focus on enlightenment, which you could say is Gnostic, because Gnosticism means knowledge. So, you could take that route. However, what you start to find is that the threads of what is Gnostic go way deeper than that. That is not simple enough. The thing is, in the Gospel of Thomas, 75% of the sayings that are recorded in it, in this book that is basically dated to around the same time as the canonical Gospels, 75% of them are found in the canonical Gospels. This simply gives them another perspective to view them from and to understand them from. Now, my point isn't whether or not the Gospel of Thomas is canonical, but that these later scriptures that are kind of lumped in with it, that go in depth with all of these weird Gnostic things about the Demiurge, I think a lot of that was later. And I think all of these groups are like they're essentially different sects that use a lot of the same books. That's, I think, what's going on here. When we talk about the Demiurge, they say that's like the bad god. That's the one who created the material world as a prison. I don't think it's quite that simple. I think when we think of gods like this as god of something outside of ourselves that we could stand in front of and see, I don't think it even works like that. Not at all. I think the only god that we can know is found within us. And on the same way, the only Satan that we can really know in any tangible way is found within us. And it is us who build our material prison. And it's us who can free ourselves as well. And it's not from our doings, it's not from our works that frees us. It's something that's found deep within us. I think when they're talking about the Demiurge in Gnosticism, it's essentially the same thing as Maya in Eastern mysticism. It's the illusion of separation, the illusion of a material world. I think that's the same thing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Plato came up with this, was basically saying that, oh, it's a simulation. And then, in order to break from this, you must break your flesh and break yourself.
Now, simulation is to say it in the gayest terms possible, right?
Yeah.
So, and I understand why people say it, and that's the worst part when I hear people talk about like simulation theory. It's like, wow, you're just talking about Eastern mysticism, but you had to put it in video game terms.
Right. I'm making it
Western terms.
I'm making it easier for people to understand.
And in the process, completely misunderstanding.
Well, that's a curse of the rational mind. It's a blessing and a curse, because obviously rational mind.
If you boil something esoteric down to like a normie's level, it's going to lose some of its flavor.
Right.
Yeah. No, a lot of it's gonna get lost in translation. Like
in Sufism, we use the word illusion too, but it's hard for people to figure out this illusion is being acted upon. Like, it can be molded. It's hard for them to wrap their minds around.
Is it? I feel like from my perspective, it's so easy to understand. Like, we are made in his image as creators. I think what that means, like, inherently, it's so simple.
That's like the dominator. I'm just gonna call it something. A dominator consciousness. Like there's like a.
It's called sub-creation.
It's like.
Term it.
What? Say that again. What?
It's called being a sub-creator.
A sub-creator. Yeah. Basically, like so many people are just like under that influence that they never get past that, and they're never able to find the truth.
I tend to think only reincarnation rectifies this. I do think everyone has to be saved. Every soul has to be saved. Whatever that means. Now, I don't know what that means. I'm going to try to pin that down. But I do think if God is perfect, as I think he is, all things need to be saved. Every single one. Not a one lost. He's the shepherd. Is he going to lose his flock? He's perfect. He's not. Am I wrong?
No, you're right. He's not.
And
gonna-
how does reincarnation fucking relate to that? Luckily, I only have 10 viewers, so you all know what I believe already. Thank God for that, dude. Whew! Be here all night.
That's what I find really weird about the view count. Like, it's always the streams have like a lower number, but then like when they're off, you get like 300 views the next day. So.
Well, what's not to understand? I almost never watch live streams. I've almost, very rarely. Almost never. Yeah, and it's fucking 2:30 a.m. on Christmas Eve, bro. Merry Christmas.
It's based. It's
Yeah.
based. You know, that's what's funny. Like my fucking best viewed video is just like random. I don't know why.
Yeah, that's how it is. That's always the things you want to catch on. No. Won't catch on. Sorry, bro. You got to try all sorts of wacky shit. All sorts, and you'd be like, "Oh, this sucks," and you post it, and it works. Oh. Yep. But I've often like felt kind of Gnostic in my thinking about Christianity, but that seems stupid now to me. It's like I am not a guy who really buys into the idea of canon. I think the idea of Bible canon almost seems silly to me at this point. Now I say that because no, first and foremost, I respect any book that's been around for 1,000 years and has helped countless people. Like I'm assuming there's something there. I'm not going to just write that off. Maybe that's not applicable across the board 100%, but I think it is generally a rule of thumb. And furthermore, when I look at things like Catholic Bible canon, there's things in Catholic Bible canon. Now, if I'm picking canon, if I am going by canon, I'm doing my canon, the Book of Tobit does not get in my canon. When I open my Catholic Bible, which is big as fuck, and it's super comprehensive with like a Bible dictionary, and it's super comprehensive, the intro to the Book of Tobit says that this is a fictional story. Everyone agrees it's a fictional story, but the message it says is inspired. That's well and good. I can accept that. But I don't think that is the context which most people have gotten it. So when furthermore, now that's all one thing. If it's just a story where you learn something, I'm okay. This story has the angel Raphael fighting the demon Asmodeus or whatever, dude. You can't just make up angels and demons and add them to this shit. That's craziness. So if it's in the context, this is a story to learn from, I get it's fan fiction. You can learn from that shit. But to present that as Bible canon when you leave out the Gospel of Thomas for a reason that I can't figure out at all, I don't understand.
The twin thing. I'm pretty sure it's like the twin thing.
I mean, here's the thing. Here's the thing about the Gospel of Thomas is that it makes no mention and makes no significance to the crucifixion whatsoever. Which
it doesn't even. I don't think it even talks about it.
Not once. Not once. That's the problem. But here's the thing: when you look at the Gospels leave out and add all sorts of stuff. They're not cohesive unless you understand that maybe these are just different perspectives. Then you could add them all together and they work. And it's like that.
But the Gospel of Thomas had to have happened before the crucifixion.
Well, the sayings would have been compiled before it because it's just a book of his sayings. It's literally that's why I love it so much. Yeah. That's what I want. And when I tell people about the Bible, it's like all you really need is the 10 Commandments and the words of Jesus. That almost sounds like a lot to people. That is, dude, that's like probably 5 pages. It's not much. It's not much. I want the most of Jesus that I can possibly get. The most important thing in the Bible are the red words, the words of Jesus. If you just had the red words of Jesus, you would be just fine. You'd have the whole thing. You'd understand Christianity, man. You'd get it. That's all you need.
For some,
I want more of that.
More context. They want to know where Jesus came
Jesus'
from. Like
words
what-
are almost you don't even need context at all. Like you can
Well, I mean,
understand
that's the
what
thing
healing the
about-
sick is. You can understand what speaking at a the Sermon on the Mount. It's just in front of a bunch of people like at a park essentially.
Some people that's just not enough. Like that's the thing. Like with Islam, you have like the Hadith. That you have like a whole other, not just only the Quran, but I mean, mods over here. You could definitely speak on this.
Hello.
Yeah, so like you have like an actual like book of
Wait,
him.
It's different with Christianity because Christian Bible study and theology exists. The problem is your regular person, your regular Joe, can't access them unless they go to the university level.
You're talking about the Quran?
No, I'm talking about doing a deep dive on Christianity.
Dude, you read the fucking Sermon on the
Yeah.
Mount. You tell me you got to do a deep dive on it.
Deep.
That's the
deep.
glory of Jesus.
Why would I, as a layman,
Who do you think he was talking to?
think that? Why would I need to do that when other inspired people came before me?
He was talking to you.
I
Jesus
know
is
he's
talking to
talking
you.
to
He's talking
me,
specifically
but
to every single person listening to this. He is talking
I
to you.
would
And when
like-
you do the deep dive on Jesus, he will show himself to a form that is so specific to you, that you relate to so perfectly, that you will see yourself in him and you will know God better.
Yes, but I want a fuller image of that. That's why I'm going to go back to the
But
theologians.
your argument is almost discounting just his words.
No, I'm not.
That's what it feels like.
I
Uh,
want a fuller image.
Dude,
I want to.
I'm not saying
more
don't do these other
of
things, but if you're not reading his words, man.
Gotta
I
read
mean,
the
like
book.
Yakov, like for
He's talking to
you,
you.
it is, but for you, but like that's you. The like you're able to understand that and get that because you have that gift to do that.
No man comes to the
A lot-
Father except through me, through Jesus.
A lot of people just do not have that higher aptitude.
You motherfuckers, am I talking to people who don't know what the Sermon on the Mount says? Because that's how this really feels right now. It's the simplest thing in
Dude,
history. Should I read it?
Like you keep saying that, but I'm telling you, objective reality outside.
The Sermon on the
Like,
Mount?
Like, hello.
People are nuts. Sermon on the Mount's the simplest thing. I'm going to read it. I'm going to find it and read it right now. See, people are nuts.
Do you not want a different perspective on it? Do you not think there was a reason other beings were inspired by the Sermon on the Mount? Do you not
But this
think
whole
there was a
discussion that we're
reason?
having is because I was saying that people should go right to the source and read it. If so, how did they conflict?
Right.
Right.
But they absolutely should. It will be the most important perspective. To deny that is madness. Jesus' words are the most important things ever written. They're the most true statements ever written. Anyone who would read them and deny the truth in them, I don't know. Just can't imagine the poor soul who would do that.
Well,
Where's the servant?
that's part of the battle. Like sometimes, like we don't listen to the truth, and then deep down we.
All right. I'm
No,
reading. I'm
like-
reading. And if y'all want to argue with Jesus,
Let's
feel
read it.
free.
Read it. Yeah, let's read it. Why not?
And seeing the multitudes, he went up into a mountain. And when he was set, his disciples came unto him. And he opened his mouth and taught them, saying, Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say in all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake. Rejoice and be exceeding glad, for great is your reward in heaven. For so persecuted they the prophets which were before you. Ye are all the salt of the earth. But if the salt have lost its savour, wherewith shall it be salted? It is thenceforth good for nothing, but to be cast out, and to be trodden under foot of men. Ye are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hid. Neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, and giveth light unto all that are in the house. Let your light so shine before men, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall no wise pass from the law, till all be fulfilled. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. For I say unto you, that except your righteousness shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees, ye shall in no case enter into the kingdom of heaven. Ye have heard that it was said of them of old time, Thou shalt not kill, and whosoever shall kill shall be in danger of the judgment. But I say unto you, that whosoever is angry with his brother without a cause shall be in danger of the judgment. And whosoever shall say to his brother, Raca, shall be in danger of the council. But whosoever shall say, Thou fool, shall be in danger of hellfire. Therefore, if thou bring thy gift to the altar, and there rememberest that thy brother hath aught against thee, leave there thy gift before the altar, and go thy way, first to be reconciled to thy brother, and then come and offer thy gift. Agree with thine adversary quickly, whilst thou art in the way with him, lest at any time the adversary deliver thee to the judge, and the judge deliver thee to the officer, and thou be cast into prison. Verily I say unto thee, thou shalt by no means come out thence, till thou hast paid the uttermost farthing. Ye have heard that it was said by them of old time, Thou shalt not commit adultery. But I say unto you, that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her, hath committed adultery with her already in his heart. And if thy right eye offend thee, pluck it out, and cast it from thee. For it is profitable for thee that one of thy members shall perish, and not that thy whole body shall be cast into the fire. And if thy right hand offend thee, cut it off, and cast it from thee. For it is profitable for thee that one of thy members should perish, and not that thy whole body should be cast into hell. It hath been said, Whosoever shall put away his wife, let him give her a writing of divorcement. But I say unto you, that whosoever shall put away his wife, saving for the cause of fornication, causeth her to commit adultery. And whosoever shall marry her that is divorced, committeth adultery. Again ye have heard that it hath been said by them of old time, Thou shalt not forswear thyself, but shalt perform unto the Lord thine oaths. But I say unto you, swear not at all, neither by heaven, for it is God's throne, nor by the earth, for it is his footstool, neither by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great king. Neither shalt thou swear by thy head, because thou canst not make one hair white or black. But let your communication be yea, yea, nay, nay. For whosoever is more than these cometh of evil. Ye have heard that it hath been said, An eye for an eye, and a tooth for a tooth. But I say unto you, that ye resist not evil, but whosoever shall smite thee on the right cheek, turn to him the other also. You guys get the picture, dude. Believe or die.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
There's the part where he talks about what he does to pedophiles.
Their neck shall be hung with the milestone.
It's true. I don't know. When I read that, now there is some stuff in there that is pretty deep. It's kind of, and especially when I'm reading the King James Bible, like it's hard for me to read it sometimes, just to rattle it off, because the language is so different. But it's not hard to do the research on these things. And I think, first of all, the first half of it is just palatable to almost anybody. And then the second half, I think, is palatable to pretty much anybody who knows right from wrong.
Yep. Yeah, I
argue
mean
with
that's
that.
basically it. That's basically it. You gotta believe, It's the whole thing.
My favorite is, "Blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled." That's my favorite.
It is a good
love
one.
that verse.
As you
Never
should.
give up that hunger.
Like,
Go on.
that's like that's on different levels right there. That on that for like I mean not only like on a physical level is like you should I believe in fasting. So like I wake up, all I just do is drink. I don't eat my meal until like after I get a good portion of work done. Like probably not until like noon, like 1 o'clock.
What the hell does this have to do with anything?
But, like I'm saying that's a
What about your
physical level.
fucking workout plan?
Physical aspect. But like not only that, but it's like you have like the righteous work that you have
I think
to do.
the beauty of these words is that we can take any single one verse, agree with it, and have a whole discussion about why it's right for 2 hours. Every single one. And it's because I'm telling you, when you're listening to Jesus, like you identify with him, and he becomes different things to different people, things he never was historically, and it doesn't matter. It is really him, and you feel it. You know it's him expressing himself in some way that's just for you. I love Jesus, man. Big Jesus, man, here.
Me too. He's a great guy.
What does Maud have to say about this? Has he been BTFO'd?
Jesus is pretty based.
Base Jesus.
Base Jesus.
Base Jesus.
Chicken Delight in the chat saying, "Looking very youth pastor today, Yako." I try, dude. You gotta,
He does look like he looks like a mid 2000s youth
I
pastor.
had
More edgier than the one that you might meet at the FEMA churches.
FEMA church.
I speak large in the yard.
Let's be honest, like when these like do you have these churches where you live at? Like
really.
they just like have these corporate ass buildings.
Not really.
The fucking like,
There's some. I'm not saying there's not, and I have seen some, but that has not been my experience.
I'm like
If-
an
if-
hour
I need-
away from...
I need listeners right now that
What are these
I think that-
Pentecostals that keep doing this next to the Buffalo Wild Wings?
it's like Baptist. It's like Baptist.
Baptist,
Pentecostal.
that
It's-
stuff is
it's
not
all
big
the-
around here. We're fucking. There's like Catholic, and then like Methodist and Lutheran is like big as far as the Protestant stuff.
See, Catholics don't have to worry. The Catholic, they just appeal to the fucking Vatican to get their money. But like the now we're gonna jump into like some fucking tear off real quick, but but the government is getting in the ears of like the Protestant religions.
Yep.
And they're getting funding for their buildings. That's why they get these corporate ass fucking
Strip
square.
mall.
They don't even or they convert like a strip mall to a church on Sundays
do
or
that.
like a school on Sundays. And these are FEMA churches. I'm gonna tell you right now.
Yeah, they're like-
You're telling me that all of the ability to drive still? There's no water in this.
So like,
There's water in
the
this.
second under the guise of that church, that's like all those people in there. Like there is like a FEMA aspect. Like think of that when the
I think the opposite. I think
It
these
is
are
a-
basically they live churches, and they have like the secret sunglasses in the basement.
for real. I don't know, dude. These are
Definitely.
like some corporate.
They're not
Yeah.
actually churches. That's the front. Is that they're just
Why
they're
I
revolutionary
wish.
points.
That's the front. Yeah.
I hope we'll see when the shit hits the fan.
Joel Osteen is the next.
If they're going to be pulling up glasses or setting up FEMA camps.
Well, I'm an hour away from Joel's Lakewood.
We should fucking pay him a visit.
We should. Didn't he like? What's
You should show up at his church and be like, "I need a place to sleep."
I need a place to sleep.
I'm crippled.
Like during a mass, like try to like set up a shop in a fucking janitor's closet.
Set up a fucking merch
Like,
tent,
all
dude.
going on.
Merged in the janitor's closet.
Yeah.
Dude, or like try to secretly live in there without anybody knowing. Like you know the motherfuckers do at Walmart.
Gotcha.
You heard
Like
about
Chuck
that?
Mangione, dude.
Chuck Mangione.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was a bit. I forgot about that. Living in
It's
the
like a Skinwalker gathering in the Joel Osteen church crawl space. So that nobody goes.
Scar says, "Can you
apparently
guys
that's-
talk about the Fatima apparition? Fatima, how do you say this shit? Fatima,
Oh,
I
that's
think.
when that
The
was in,
apparitions and the three
Skinwalker,
secrets of
yeah.
Fatima. And what's the third secret? Is probably because that's interesting, and I'm curious about it, dude.
Okay.
Well, the third secret.
Hold up, Maud, go.
Okay, so the
Louder.
apparitions of Fatima were three apparitions of the Virgin Mary, and Fatima being the last apparition, she called to have her name be recited as Our Lady of Good Success. So it's also called the Miracle of the Lady of Good Success. And basically, in these apocalyptic revelations, she literally summarized the next 300 years. So she would talk about revolutionaries entering the church and how they would dismantle the Catholic Church and how Russia would convert to Catholicism. The third secret of Fatima was addressed strictly to the Pope and was written down in a letter, and he was supposed to address it to the people, and I think 1971, but did not do so. There's tons of like conjecture as to what the third secret of Fatima is, but nobody's read the letter.
The third one.
Yeah.
What does this
Yeah,
have to do
the third-
with the sun dancing around in the sky?
Oh, that's the miracle of Fatima.
But how are they connected, right? Come on now.
Oh, the miracle
well-
of Fatima was like, and this is what's interesting because even supposed like atheists fucking saw it. Like that was when these three little kids or whatever they said like the spirit of the Virgin Mary like appeared to them or something and told
This
them.
isn't where things were revealed with these kids?
Yeah, like there's like
Yeah,
one that
it's-
lived and like wrote about this. I forget the fucking name of it.
So that's where these secrets came from, but the sun dancing was like a connected thing, right?
Yeah, well,
What's
that's
the
what
connection
happened. Is
here?
they told the kids told like all the adults in the town or village or whatever in Portugal that hey, there's gonna be a miracle happen in this field, so everyone needs to come out here, and they did. Like there was like a shitload of people, like atheists, like Christians, Muslims. It was like news reporters. It was people from all over the world, and like yeah, and it happened. Like the sun fucking danced around and stuff. They say.
Jumped around in the sky, dude. They were watching it.
Yeah.
Imagine up there like Trump, like
Yeah, but
it's worth seeing. I'll lose my vision over that.
To address the question in the chat, the third secret is sealed away in the Vatican. Like the Vatican has access to it. They probably already read it.
I think.
You
I mean,
just
what I
saw-
always heard, and whatever,
Yeah.
it goes along with other things I've heard, but that the secret was the destruction of the Catholic Church.
Yes.
Yeah,
She-
and that's
she said
probably
the entirety of the church was going to be destroyed,
Yup.
and it has to be.
Yeah.
Otherwise, Jesus isn't coming back. There's no president
It's,
coming back, but the church is still there.
that's associated with all the popes right now. Is that like
I'm getting a beer.
when the Pope dies, that's when they say that's when the church is going to start to crumble when the Pope dies. But the thing is, a Pope hasn't died in office yet. And every time a Pope has gone close to dying, they've resigned or switched out. So now we got Francis. So like, don't be surprised. Like, if they want to keep that prophecy from happening, he's gonna resign or something. If he dies in office, then that's the fulfillment of that prophecy. Yeah, some deep shit. There were things that I think, in if I remember right, it's like 3 days of darkness.
Yeah.
Fall upon the.
Explicitly Freemasons and homosexuals.
Yep.
Explicitly.
Tell us. What was
That Freemasons would infiltrate the church, and they did so through the Jesuit order.
Yeah.
Because you slowly start to see around the 1600s, Jesuits started incorporating Masonic iconography into the order. Then slowly, right around the end of World War II, you see reports of homosexuality start to reach a frequency that they hadn't in a very, very long time.
Yeah, it's funny because it's like, there is kind of like that truth about like Freemasons being faggy. I'm sorry for saying that word. Like not fucking.
One of the
Like during their. I'm not saying all Freemasons are like that, but there is that culture within it that
Some of them, I'm sure, are good people.
one of the symbols of Freemasonry are two naked men embracing one another on a horse. So yes, there's clearly an element of Freemasonry that's about male on male relationships.
I got news for you, dude.
Yeah.
When they wrote the Constitution, Benjamin Franklin came out of the building, and a woman ran up and was like, "What have you wrought? A monarchy or a democracy?" It was like, "Neither, woman. We have a pedophile blackmail ring."
Yeah.
It's literally all a pedophile and gay blackmail ring. All of it. Sorry.
Oh,
That's true.
Oh, thanks, dude. Like all four of us are right next to that woman. But thanks a lot, bro. Oh, thank you.
Got
Man.
him. It's a sorry state. Cookies are delicious.
And then we go to the pub and we're like, all right, so how do we get ahead in this new thing? All right, let's start blackmailing people. And
Where's the kids at? We need more kids.
So stupid.
That was the founding of the U.S. government. I'm sorry.
That's the founding of the U.S. government. It's like how.
Tired of fucking blacks. Where's fucking? I wanna fuck kids.
You got Benjamin Franklin. He's like trying to fit through the door, and he's like, "Is there children here?"
Yeah, that's the thing.
I know I'm being bad on the internet, but I don't care.
It's like, people say this was the Christian, like this is a Christian country, being founded.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, it was a Freemason country. You just had
This
right
country
to
will never
worship.
be the Christian theocracy you want it to be until Jesus himself is king.
Yeah.
The world.
Yeah.
Do be the
We're all
king.
dead. We're all dead. We all have to die.
Ready?
That's a misconception, man. Like, unfortunately,
It's both
like, I wish I could
symbolically
agree.
true
Like,
and literally true.
Yeah, I tell him, I was like, I wish I could agree with you, but I'm gonna tell you right now, it's not. But like, then they get all butthurt. Then they're all like,
Who are you
They were
BTFOing right now?
They were not allowed to write the name of God on the Constitution. Some priest wrote the name of God next to his name on his signature when nobody else was looking. And that's the one time God is mentioned in the Constitution.
Cool. Just got in, dude.
Yeah.
Millions of views, dude.
Good. Good, dude. Good. God bless that priest for being there.
God bless us, everyone.
They need to find his name. I need to look that nigga up.
He's a good guy. Alright. What the hell else I got? Let's start talking about. Let's go back to some Jesus. Crack one open for Jesus, dude.
Take a big hit off the Delta.
Take a fucking drink. Take a drink for baby Jesus. Baby Jesus, baby
Drink.
Jesus.
Baby Jesus.
I do not drink.
LJN
Part
makes
of
bad
liquor about
Jesus games.
Huh? Rip your cart for Jesus, for baby Jesus,
Right.
baby Jesus.
Everybody, let's go. Let's go. 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
I don't have anything to drink.
You got a hookah. I know you got a hookah sitting there on your desk. Hashish. I know what you people do.
When I actually went to Russia that one time, weed is really weird in Russia. Today it's like,
Yeah, call.
Hold on.
he's dying.
Yeah, call us about to
You're not
die.
dying, you're not trying, dude.
He gassed himself.
Alright. No, that shit.
No, when I was in Russia, like weed is like really funny in Russia. Like if you try to like have
Weed
it
is
on
always
you,
funny.
you'll get like fucked, right? But,
Yeah.
but you can buy it legally. in,
Like,
a
like they invite you over and have sex with you on the street. Like, oh, you have weed?
yeah, but like you can buy it legally if it's like at a special certain fucking bar or whatever, and like they have hookah bars for it, and like they fucking bring it out and they put it in like the hookah and they like have the hot rocks they put on top of it.
And you boof it.
Yep, and you just inhale it.
Got more homies hanging out in the chat, showing up, dude. We got Sped in the chat. Merry Christmas, bro. Invincible Seth. Merry Christmas,
The
bro.
goal, the
Goose.
esoteric
Merry
goal,
Christmas.
the hookah.
I do know Flame sounds
the-
funny. I'm aware that Flame sounds funny. Thank you, Moose, for
Oh shit!
reminding
Let's talk
Flame
shit.
of that. Go on.
Yeah, we're going in on me. No, but the esoteric, the use of the hookah is not to inhale it, actually.
Pussy.
And when you're smoking hashish,
Bill
it's
Clinton
to
over here.
swallow
My
the-
fucking Rabbi Bill Clinton
Oh,
over here,
oh.
dude.
Not even with Bill Clinton, dude. You got you got to swallow the smoke in your.
You gotta
like-
swallow, dude. It's not.
You gotta swallow the smoke. You have to like just sit there and you vomit all over the table.
Look, when people ask me if I wanted to smoke weed, I tell them the only thing I smoke is sausage. But now I'm gonna tell them the only thing I do is swallow sausage, dude. That will make them go
Oh my
away.
god.
But it's funny because my ex got like fucking obliterated and her eyes were all red and shit. It was great.
I give my girlfriend
You said
one
your
gummy
ex?
and she's retarded. Red eyes, Chinese eyes, dude. I'm telling you. One gummy, dude. I've been eating these things all day. I'm on like 6 of them
Yeah,
right now.
same.
That's not even. That's
Same,
before the 8 of them I ate earlier. Doesn't do
I had
shit,
a 12
dude.
pack of these fucking Spaten Doppelbox. They're like 8% alcohol, and then I had some vodka, and then I've been eating gummies and fucking with this vape all night, so I'm pretty good and fucked up.
Gotta vape, dude. Gotta vape
Yeah.
for Christmas. I made the mistake of getting fucking ripped off on Thanksgiving when I went and tried to buy a vape. They sold me one for like $30, and it was immediately just burnt cotton. I don't know what happened, dude.
Oh, it fucking I got one that leaked recently, and it fucking pissed me off.
Then I went to another Indian shop for this one, and I wasn't even expecting to buy a vape, but I saw on the wall it said 2 for $25 for some fucking vape. I didn't know what it was. I'm like, yo, you got this 2 for $25 up here? I'll take that. And I'm like, which one is it? And he didn't know what the fuck I was talking about. I'm pointing to a random one. This was not the one that was advertised 2 for $25. He just gave it to me. I don't know. Whatever, dude.
Oh
Fine.
yeah.
It's fine
I got
with me,
one.
dude.
I got one of these it was the fucking HHC THCP mixture one, and it fucking leaked, and I got like half the fucking cart, and it sucked.
Welcome to Delta
Damn.
8 Bill, dude. These fucking torch ones do pretty well. They rip pretty hard, dude. I don't know.
Like we should be beyond the point of like shitty made vape carts, like the fucking science, like the engineering.
Oh, that's what you don't understand is that they just get shittier,
You just get shit.
Well, I mean,
cheaper, and fucking gayer,
you-
dude.
you remember when they first were coming around?
Yeah, they were pretty
Like they
bad.
were like super rudimentary. Like
They would just like leak everywhere for no fucking reason.
yeah, dude. It was just,
You're right.
sometimes it didn't even hit at all.
You're
You'd have to
right.
fucking.
You have to hit it 3 times to get an actual hit out of it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I got
that
one
was
of
a
these
thing.
shit carts like that. Yeah, somebody like the Indian store near me, he actually got this stuff called like Purple Sasquatch Delta 8. Whatever, and that shit, like, he was selling it for $15, which is pretty good, a cart. That shit sucked. It was like the most shitty tasting, like, Mexican brickweed. Shit. Oh, it was nasty.
All right, let's go on and talk about more Jesus, dude. Let's talk about
Praise.
Jesus. Where's Flame, dude? It's time to praise God. There he
I'm,
is.
I'm right here.
Your blur is fucking me up. You keep phasing in and out of
Yeah.
reality.
He's skinwalking.
Yeah, it's flame walking, dude.
Flame walking.
I'm in between realities, bro.
All right, so I'm gonna. Here's what we're gonna
There's
do.
gotta be
This is how we're gonna start. We're going to read the canonical accounts of the Nativity.
Based.
Let's go.
Always. Let's do it. Let's fucking do this. Okay, so the Christmas story, the King James Version. For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulders, and his name shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. Of the increase of his government and peace there shall be no end, upon the throne of David and upon his kingdom, to order it and to establish it with judgment and with justice from henceforth, even forever. The zeal of the Lord of hosts will perform this. That is Isaiah 9, 6 through 7. That is a prophecy of the birth of Jesus. So this is...
That's, I always heard something interesting, and I don't know how true it is.
But
But,
we were saying earlier, it's like that's some really like important context. Like, wouldn't you want to know that? But
do
if
you
you
mean?
only just had
that Jesus is the King of Kings, the King of everything, of the world and beyond? Is that context that you
well, I'm
needed?
saying-
Sorry, I didn't realize we
Well,
had context for
okay.
that, dude. He's the
Dude,
king.
I'm telling you.
It's simple. He's
So-
your king.
so-
Bow down.
Some people just still don't know. They're ignorant. It's like the demiurge
Yes, they
thing you
do.
were talking about. Some people say the demiurge.
What the
is
hell part of
not
Jesus is
evil.
king don't you understand? I don't understand. What's the difficulty?
I gotta go get me a seltzer. I'll
There's
be right
nothing
back.
obscure about this at all. He's your king. Period.
It's true. Maybe.
Look, I look at that fucking King James version. I'm partial to a King James version. But when I see KJV, I don't see King James version. I see King Jesus version, man. He's your king. Bow down. What don't you get? Just bow down. He's your king. Okay, let's go on. Now, this is the account of the Nativity, the birth of Jesus. Nativity, and I never thought about this word. Nativity. What does that word mean? Maud, do you have an answer for that? Why nativity? What does that word mean?
The navel, right? So
Nativity?
your navel,
Okay.
nativity. It has something to do with the stomach. Is what I'm. assuming.
I assumed it was God to be native to flesh, essentially.
No, it's the same root as navel.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's just the birth.
Yes,
Okay.
a person's birth.
So
Which-
Luke
Which could
2:1.
mean also a founding.
Okay. Luke 2:1. And it came to pass in those days that there went out a decree from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be taxed. And that this taxing was first made when Cyrenius was governor of Syria. And all went to be taxed, every one into his own city. And Joseph also went up from Galilee, out of the city of Nazareth, into Judea, unto the city of David, which is called Bethlehem, because he was of the house and lineage of David, to be taxed with Mary, his espoused wife, being great with child. And so it was that, while they were there, the days were accomplished that she should be delivered. And she brought forth her firstborn son, and wrapped him in swaddling clothes, and laid him in a manger, because there was no room for them in the inn. And there were in the same country shepherds abiding in the field, keeping watch over their flock by night. Now before I go on with this, I do want to note again, that in a manger, no room for the inn, no room in the inn. They go to the manger, which is probably in a cave with a bunch of animals. And I think that is... Huh?
It was the stable.
That is most scholarly interpretations say that it would have been a cave, and I think there's reference to caves. We'll see as it goes on. So I can't even remember. I've been going through so much stuff. I can't remember what the hell is canonical and what isn't. So I don't want to make any guarantees. But yeah, the stable is nice and easy, and it's real picturesque. But I'm not sure if that is the way it was or not. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day. The point is, he was surrounded by animals. And I think that is God coming into the world, to be surrounded by animals who would mistreat him, not knowing him.
Yeah. You know, and that's interesting too, and I don't know how true it is, but I've heard one of the wise men was either Persian, they say, or he might have been Scythian.
They always Scythian. Everyone can be Scythian.
There were three. One was a Median, so from Arabia. One was a Persian.
Yes.
All right, we should save this because we're going to get to it. So let's save this.
Okay.
I want to talk about that, but I don't want it to cut into this. And there were in the same country shepherds abiding in the field, keeping watch over their flock by night. And lo, the angel of the Lord came upon them, and the glory of the Lord shone round about them. And they were sore afraid. And the angel said unto them, Fear not, for behold, I bring you good tidings of great joy, which shall be to all people. For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Saviour, which is Christ the Lord. And this shall be a sign unto you. You shall find the babe wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger. And suddenly there was with the angels a multitude of the heavenly host praising God and saying, Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill toward men.
What kind of angels were there?
That is a far more complicated question than I am willing to answer right now.
I'm just wondering,
here's the thing, dude. It turns out angel isn't a very good descriptor.
No, it just
they're
means
messengers
messenger.
of God. I don't know what to tell
It just
you.
means it's like angelos from Greek, and it means messenger. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. Where the hell was I? And it came to pass, as the angels were gone away from them into heaven, the shepherds said one to another, Let us now go even unto Bethlehem, and see this thing which has come to pass, which the Lord hath made known unto us. Now, note that some of the first people notified about this to have any idea were shepherds. They were keeping charge of their flock of sheep, obviously, and there's a lot of symbolism in the shepherd, biblically speaking. But understand that these are the people who would have been taking care of the sheep that would eventually be sacrificed in the temple, which makes them significant to Jesus' story.
Yeah.
You'd like to say that these are people who could understand his fate and relate to it, even if they didn't know it. Maybe that's why they deserved the knowledge. I don't know. And they came with haste and found Mary and Joseph and the babe lying in a manger. And when they had seen it, they made known abroad the saying which was told to them concerning this child. And all they that heard it wondered at those things which were told to them by the shepherds. But Mary kept all these things and pondered them in her heart. And the shepherds returned, glorifying and praising God for all the things that they had heard and seen, as it was told unto them. And when 8 days were accomplished for their circumcising of the child, his name was called Jesus, which was so named of the angel before he was conceived in the womb. Which was so named of the angel before he was conceived in the womb. So the angel, that is when the angel spoke to Mary and told, I believe is what happened, told her to name him Jesus.
Yeah.
Yes. It gets super confusing when you consume. I got apocryphal stuff I want to go into, but me and Pengus were sitting around watching the Nativity story. It's a movie about the Nativity. It's fine, it's whatever. But as we were watching it, we're like, that's not in the Bible. But then I was reading the Gospel of James, which I'll talk about next, I guess. And I'm like, oh, that's where they got it all. And yeah, I'll get into that when it's time. But the story of that's pretty interesting, too. The story of the birth of Christ as told through Matthew. Do we have any comments before I do this?
Oh, go ahead.
Y'all just want to hear about baby Jesus? Baby Jesus, baby Jesus.
Yeah.
Matthew 1:16. Let's get ready. Get my throat together. And Jacob begat Joseph, the husband of Mary, of whom was born Jesus, who was called Christ. So all the generations from Abraham to David are 14 generations, and from David until the carrying away into Babylon are 14 generations. And from the carrying away into Babylon unto Christ are 14 generations. Now the birth of Jesus Christ was on this wise. When as his mother Mary was espoused to Joseph, before they came together, she was found with child of the Holy Ghost. Then Joseph her husband, being a just man, and not willing to make her a public example, was minded to put her away privily. But while he thought on these things, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared unto him in a dream, saying, Joseph, thou son of David, fear not to take unto thee Mary thy wife. For that which is conceived in her is of the Holy Ghost. So now you have, when Joseph finds out that Mary is pregnant, he is perturbed by this. Doesn't like it one bit and doesn't understand it at all. He hadn't slept with her. I think that's something that's it's overlooked too often in this story, how human all of these elements are. And as Jesus, for a man who didn't have a family of his own, from most accounts, the most important figures in his story are his family in a lot of ways. And he is very much like a relatable family man. You can see it in these portraits of his parents.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember grew up in the Catholic Church. I was always seeing like the image, like because like that's like the ideal. It's funny how like the Catholic Church has all this mythos and stuff like that, and they try to instill those values into people. Is like having a house, a mother, and a father. And how a close, tight family unit is so important in the society, well-being of a person.
Yeah.
I'd like to think in a lot of ways Jesus is the balance of all of those things, not really needing any of them, existing as a whole human, like where I don't know, a normal person needs the balance of family, like the entire unity of being was balanced within him for a specific purpose, and that's that.
Balance between the individual and from the collective, because like I was saying, like that the collective thinking is keep people from fulfilling their potential. Because like they're so caught up in that collective. That's why it's good for people leaving their family and going out into the world.
Patrick states in the chat, says, gotta agree with Yakov. Nativity is like the womb of the most holy. Sure. Truly. Merry Christmas to you. God Yule, he says. I don't know. I'm not sold on it. I'm in Jesus mode. Where were we? And he shall bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name Jesus. And she shall bring forth a son. That was weird. And thou shalt call his name Jesus, for he shall save his people from their sins. Now all this was done that it might be fulfilled which was spoken of the Lord by the prophets, saying, Behold, a virgin shall be with child, and she shall bring forth a son, and they shall call his name Emmanuel, which being interpreted is God with us. Now that is a verse I believe from Isaiah also that I don't have on hand. A lot of people argue that where it says virgin, a virgin shall be with child. A lot of people say that the word in Hebrew could just as easily mean young woman simply. I would argue that you could probably apply that same prophecy to multiple things in the Bible. I haven't done the deep dive, but that's usually how this works. When you were reading these things, if you understand them from only one perspective, you are misunderstanding them, essentially. It's only when you realize that it works on a number of levels that you get it. And I think if someone was to tell me that, like, you know, rabbinical Judaism has a different idea of this, and they can tell me the whole reason for it, I bet you I could even find it to agree with them, and this would still be correct to me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
Here's the thing, dude. A lot of these prophets in the Old Testament are
It's like
images of Jesus. They are images of Jesus.
That. Yeah. Because Christ is predicted throughout the Old Testament constantly.
That's what I'm saying, but he's not the only one predicted necessarily either. There are lots of kings and great men in the Bible, and I think a lot of the things that are said about these other people, I think Joseph is a good example. So many of them. Another being Joshua, who had the same name as Jesus. When you read their stories, a lot of the things that are related to them, things said about them, are just things about Jesus. And that's when you get deep, when you can read it on those levels. That's when Bible study feels really good. And, I wish I could go into all these things in detail. Half of them I can barely remember, but they're worth going back to. And that's the beautiful thing. They'll be just as fresh as they ever were.
Yeah, when I was growing up, my parents they were very sheltered Protestants. My grandparents were both Catholic on both sides. My parents were kind of like, they fell into the thing where a lot of like people who want to be WASPs but aren't do, and they just like convert to like Southern Baptists.
We're wasps. What do you mean by wasps? What the fuck?
White, Anglos, Saxon Protestant.
Anglers, yeah, Anglers, yeah, like wannabe, you know, like I'm like, I don't have any English.
You're the bugs, dude?
Not that I know of. But...
What the fuck? I'm lost.
You worship bugs, man.
Y'all must you're the animals.
Alright, I'm going on with the Bible. I'm gonna crap at any of this.
Well, I was getting at before like getting off track. The fucking like Southern Baptist church.
Animals and shit.
Yeah, it's real big. It's real big around like around my area, and almost everyone here is either that or Catholic, and most of the Catholics are either like Irish descent or Mexicans.
Give a shit about any of this. Then Joseph, being raised from sleep, did as the angel of the Lord had bidden him, and took unto him his wife, and knew her not till she had brought forth her firstborn son, and he called his name Jesus. Now, and knew her not till she had brought forth her firstborn son. A lot of people say that Mary was always a virgin. Frankly, that whole thing became clear to me as I read the Gospel of James. Not a canonical book, yet one that has clearly been influential in Catholic thought, because it's basically the only like book of the Bible, however you want to take that, that refers to Mary always being a virgin. But here it said he knew her not till she had brought forth her firstborn son. It almost implies that the marriage was consummated.
But yeah, the marriage was consummated. I
don't know. Interesting, I think.
You know, and that's the thing, Joseph, you know, I'm sure, like, he got fucking mocked relentlessly, you know?
Yep.
Early on.
That's what
when
Jesus
no one
says. You'll be ridiculed for him and for his sake. Yeah. Now when Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea, in the days of Herod the king, behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem, saying, Where is he that is born King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east, and are come to worship him. So now here we have the quote-unquote wise men, or kings, if you will, from the east, it says, and I think I've read that this is more literally from where the sun rises, essentially. That's like what the word means. So it's pretty broad and undefined, and like we were talking about, there were traditionally speaking, I think it said what, Mata? Is it Arab, Persian, and like Indian?
I think it was Arab, Persian, and Scythian.
Scythian. I've never heard Scythian. I feel like everyone's fucking pulling
yeah,
my
I've
leg
heard
on this
that.
one, dude. I have heard Indian. I've not heard Scythian, dude.
Well, we're on
Holy
the
fuck.
continent. There
You're-
would have been
you're-
Scythians in India.
Let's just whitewash it. Let's just whitewash it right now so they're all in the high. Morgan, that's all fuck.
These people
Let's just
actually
fucking-
existed at this
There were no
Can we get-
Scythians
can we get-
at this
can we
time.
get,
I promise you.
You didn't have to cut me off playing in the background.
They were all Giga Chads, bro.
Yeah.
They were all Demons.
Well, here's this thing about and this is like the stupidest thing about the Scythians. I'm sorry. Every fucking single group of people will claim one of the Magi. Period. That's the way it
Yeah.
is. There's some tradition about why your guy was one of the Magi in like every fucking
Those are
country.
Puerto Ricans.
Dog, there is a fucking tradition that one of them was Chinese.
Really? I would
Dog, you want
Buffer.
stupid ideas about why I was Kangs, dude. Why I was 3 Kangs, dude?
No,
I'll give you
my-
fucking
my-
reasons.
my canon, they're all from the Caribbean. They're
Fuck.
one's Jamaican, one's Puerto Rican.
One's
one's-
Puerto Rican. One was Puerto Rican. Puerto Rican Magi.
The other one's the other one's Asian.
So, but the other thing to consider here is that they are specifically here because of the star in the east. So they were clearly someone who, groups of people that knew the stars very well. Now, the obvious thing to the east is the Persians. They would have been very into astrology or astronomy, blurring the lines between the two probably at the time. Whatever the hell, I don't know. However, whatever.
Well,
But
they founded astrology.
sure, cool. I want to argue with that, but I have no fucking tools to do so right now. I don't know.
It was
Sure.
a Sumerian thing.
Okay, well, I don't want to talk about those motherfuckers, dude. They're
There
as bad
you
as
go.
Santa, dude. None of this shit's real.
Okay.
Santa's
Anyway,
not
what the
real.
hell? So what I'm saying here is that the Persians would have been very astute in their astrology, astronomy, and this and that. So would have been the Indians. They would have been on top of that shit, no doubt. Now, but I'm reading this and I'm getting no indication that they're like 3 different groups. There's also that.
It could have all just been fucking Persians. Like that's a.
I think that's the most likely answer. I don't know if it's true or not, but I think it's the most likely one.
They were from. I heard another one was they were Zoroastrians.
That's
That's
Persian.
Persian. Yeah, that's Persians. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll make a Persian.
So the term magi that we associate with them, that I believe is biblical. I'd have to go deeper into that. Same thing as magus. Magus. I don't know how to say any of these words, but like the magician, the idea of the magician. But magi is like a Persian term. That is like referring to
would
Persians
be,
at some point in
yeah,
history.
It's someone that would. It was the position of high priest.
Cool. It's almost
And
interesting
what,
with the
Zora?
king association with that. So you have the king and priest once again, a motif in Christmas.
Yes.
It's Jesus. Where was I? When Herod the king had heard these things, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem was with him. And when he had gathered all the chief priests and scribes of the people together, he demanded of them where Christ should be born. And they said unto him, In Bethlehem of Judea, for thus it is written by the prophet, And thou, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, art not the least among the princes of Judah. For out of thee shall come a governor that shall rule my people Israel. Then Herod, and I love the way that when you're reading the Bible, you literally have interpretations of Old Testament verses repeated about why they are prophetic about Jesus. Like, I don't know. It's so meta. It's beautiful. I love it. It's like why the Bible is just like the greatest puzzle. It's just like a puzzle waiting for you to solve. It feels so good solving it, dude. And it's endless. It's good. Yeah. Then Herod, when he had privily called the wise men, inquired of them diligently what time the star appeared. And he sent them to Bethlehem, and said, Go and search diligently for the young child. And when ye have found him, bring me word again, that I may come and worship him also. When they had heard the king, they departed, and lo, the star which they saw in the east went before them, till it came and stood over where the young child was. When they saw the star, they rejoiced with exceeding great joy. When they were come into the house, they saw the young child with Mary his mother, and fell down and worshipped him. And when they had opened their treasures, they presented unto him gifts, gold and frankincense and myrrh. And like I said before, the gold is symbolic of earthly power, the kingship, like an earthly kingship. Frankincense being the high priest. And myrrh is part of funeral rites to some degree or another. So even in that is a prophecy. And that is the canonical story of the Nativity. That's it. That's everything in the Bible. Does that surprise anybody, or is that what we expected? I feel like it's very little, and there's a lot of things added to that by tradition, pop culture, even maybe apocryphal works.
What do you mean? Like, I don't know. Like, what,
you know, the way they say, like, the wise men turn into three kings. The way I, like, personally for me, thinking of it as a stable, I don't know that there's any particular indication that it was a stable. I think it could have been much dirtier than that. And that only being a testament to God's greatness. I don't know.
Why could it be more dirtier than a stable than just outside?
It's often it's said that it was likely just some cave.
Yeah, they think it was a cave. Yeah, they don't think it was in like a fucking stable.
I think there's nothing better than God being born straight up onto the earth. There's nothing better than that.
There were animals, but it wasn't like in a fucking stable.
Yeah, the dirtiest thing you can imagine. I love it.
Metaphysics of being in the cave.
He popped out and immediately embraced the filth of the earth, and that's all he ever did. And it was beautiful, man. I am the filth of the earth. I am the mud. I am the mud. I am the stars in the sky. There's no difference between any of it. And when I beat myself, I don't know.
Didn't have to cut me
Okay.
off.
What do I got next? So now, when you want to talk about some Apocrypha, guys? Are we still into this?
Yeah.
You're wrong, dude. I want to talk about the Infancy Gospel of Thomas briefly. The Infancy Gospel of Thomas is often confused with the Gospel of Thomas that I was talking about earlier. Totally different book. The Infancy Gospel of Thomas is one of the earlier apocryphal texts that I would be talking about here. It actually has like very little information on the Nativity at all. There's like a sentence that says Jesus was born. So it seems to turn up around the 2nd century. So it seems like AD 180 is the first time a reference to it comes up. It's even before that. It's pretty early.
But I think that's a crime committed against them. Against Jesus. Not like a serious, grievous thing, but like just to glance over his birth like that. And because of that kind of thinking, we've done that to the middle of his life. Because like he was 32, we meet back up with him at 32.
There is a reason for this mystery, I am convinced, and I don't think we're meant to know it right now.
Yeah, that's...
I got no answer, and I could sit here and I could be like, you went to fucking India.
The adventures that we went through.
Here's the reality of it, dude. At the time, fucking Buddhism would have been known in Judea to some extent, maybe to the least extent, but it would have at least been known because the whole kingdom was connected. It was connected from areas that would have been Buddhist to fucking Rome to the Middle East. There's ways to get this information. And I'm not going to sit here. I don't know. Was Jesus in there reading occult literature? I don't know. But my point is, like, you don't even have to put him in India. You don't know. We have no fucking idea. I think there's a mystery there that one day we will know and we will feel very good about, and we're not meant to know it now.
Yeah, he was in Arabia.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think we're meant to know every detail of Jesus' life. I think at some point in time we will be meant to know that.
I mean, like, there's a lot that could happen in 1 year. So, like,
Ask
the
him
India,
yourself when he comes
fucking,
back. Ask him
huh?
yourself.
Yeah, yeah, true. Because it's like it. I mean, when you think about it, like the world is it's pretty small. Like the United States is actually not as big as you actually really think it is.
It's pretty
And
big.
that's me being talking as a truck driver.
It's like 10 times the size
No,
of
Oh, this guy with a truck thinks the country's small. Walking.
I'm
You
I'm
walk.
telling you, dude. I'm telling you, like, this. I guess me and you have very different ideas of distance.
I think we should. If
Um,
you have to take vehicles out of the equation if you want to really conceptualize what is far and
Yeah,
wide.
I know that part, but like I'm pretty sure like if he had the will to do it, he could have been to like India, maybe even to China or like fucking even maybe he may have been
Why?
in Europe. Who knows?
Why? Why?
Huh?
Was he in
Why? Because
North
he
America
could.
too with the fucking Nephites
He
or
could
whatever, dude?
Mormons.
Yeah, he was.
Shit, he can fucking do it.
But
He
why?
can do it
Why?
because he can.
You book a Tobit ass
Why,
motherfucker,
dude?
dude. Like you can't just add things for no
Just-
reason.
He
Why?
could teleport.
Not bad things. We don't even know. We don't even know shit. I'm just. This is conjecture.
I know. I just
Dude.
don't want to go down the route of being he was in India.
Teleportation.
Yeah.
Shit, maybe, but I'm
But
not gonna
like-
sit here and say Jesus was teleporting around without any actual.
There's all these, there's
He was
Interesting.
teleporting away.
If I'm, dude, if you're telling me to believe the Book of Mormon, like whatever.
Yeah, the Book of Mormon.
I feel like that's what's going on right now. I have a hard time with it.
there's some
Book of
there are
Mormon's
still-
so
there's some
so
weird-
boring. The Bible's not boring.
there's some weird
I miss
synchronicity in Mormonism.
Because of Freemasonry.
Mormonism is Freemason.
Yeah, it's because of Freemasonry, bro. They're actually using like weird prophetic symbolism and stuff like that. Like they are. It's just perverse.
Dude's on the
AVG
horse.
joins the Freemasons.
So where were we here? We get back to the infancy
Was it
gospel
a-
of Thomas here. I want to talk about for a second. So there's some stories in this.
Okay.
Jesus makes birds out of clay and then brings them to life. Mud.
Cool.
That's
Really?
not cool, but that's like that's in the Quran, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. What does that mean? That this was likely made before. What does that indicate? Is that indicates that this is a true story? Does it indicate anything further about
That
the book itself?
indicates that that is a true story. I generally believe all the parables are true as a general rule.
What is that? So literally anything that's ever been taken as canon anywhere?
Yeah.
I'm not against that. Believe me. The more power you ascribe to Jesus, the happier Jesus is.
Because one, if we get something wrong, this is all about expressions of love, right, and truth. If we
Objectivity. You could. That's.
Yeah.
It's about objectivity. So I guess.
so the best you can do is believe in all of it wholesale.
Okay. I'm not
This
I'm not
goes
against
to-
that.
This goes
Well,
for
here,
every
how about this?
single
But
rule.
does this? How about like? Okay, I'm looking at this from similar logic as like one would consider like hadiths. I think. So like, if something is like right from the time period, right from the right area, right on point on all that stuff, I feel like that stuff should kind of come first in priority.
If we're talking about what is canon, we first have to talk about what can.
I don't
why
believe
it-
in canon. First and foremost, I don't really believe in canon, quote unquote. I'm not going to
Yeah.
just like draw lines, and I would never do that.
So the best solution to that is to believe every single thing.
I'm okay with that, honestly. When I hear something good about Jesus, I'm perfectly happy to ascribe it to him. I'm fine with that. can't just believe everything.
If you know what the blasphemy of the Holy Spirit is, right?
I don't know. I feel like my opinion differs on that.
When you ascribe miracles of God to Satan, right?
I wouldn't
They-
agree with that at all. Maybe.
They said when Jesus healed that man
Hmm.
that he was working with Beelzebub,
Hmm.
and Jesus rightly said that they committed blasphemy against the Holy Spirit.
Okay.
When you deny a miracle, especially within Christianity, you are in there's the dilemma of the sin against the blaspheming the Holy Spirit. So the best thing to do, the safest strategy to do is to believe it wholesale. I mean, there's nothing negative you could get from believing these parables. What's the drawback?
Well, I do kind of think once you get into like weirder things that are very, very fucking spurious, I think it can like paint just the wrong picture. I don't know. I don't know how that manifests as a bad thing necessarily, but it doesn't. Just believing any random thing anyone says doesn't seem like a good thing. So you don't have like a cutoff point. Like, what year do we stop believing people?
But you said that when you read, Jesus will appear to you.
But it's not the same for
And
everybody. It's
something you
not
can access.
necessarily everything. I
Oh,
get how you're applying it,
wow.
but that's not how it
That's
actually
what
works.
the fuck I was saying earlier. You're over here getting pushback. That's exactly what you're fucking saying right now. Is exactly what I was fucking saying 10, 20 minutes ago.
What, about Jesus being in India?
No, about like just some people just don't get like that.
Yeah. I specifically think about Jesus is that he will appear to you like differently. You will find him differently. It won't be the exact same things that bring you to him that someone else did.
Yeah.
I don't know. I there's, because you could like bring up a lot of things about, like, if I brought up frickin' like Pat Robertson he was talking to God at his retreat. Like, do we just believe that? Why not? Where's the cutoff for it? Dude?
That is
I'm
it.
just talking about the Apocrypha.
But it's not too far off. Some of this stuff. Some of it's just nonsense. And I don't want to say nonsense. It's probably good for some reason at some point. But I don't think you can just take something that was made 1,500 years later or something, which some of it fucking was. Some of it was. So yeah, anyway, the interesting thing about the Infancy Gospel of Thomas is that it has stories in it that are in the Quran as well. That's the one thing that makes that interesting. And it's, like I said, it was one sentence about the Nativity, so you can actually find that one sentence. Yeah. Thomas, an Israelite, judged it necessary to make known to our brethren among the Gentiles the actions and miracles of Christ in his childhood, which our Lord and God Jesus Christ wrought after his birth in Bethlehem in our country, at which I myself was astonished, the beginning of which was as followeth. Then it goes on about the accounts of the childhood of Jesus, which I'm not going to go into now. I want to focus on the Nativity. Next thing I was interested in was the Gospel of James. The thing about the Gospel of James, now it was condemned by Pope Innocent I in 405, and rejected by the Galatian Decree around 500. So that'll give you a time frame of kind of when it was relevant, at least. Maybe not when it was written. The thing about that is that it gives you an account of like Mary's life before Jesus' birth. And now a lot of it's the only story that maintains Mary's perpetual virginity. So it seems to be very influential to Catholicism as we know it, even though it was not considered canonical.
Yeah.
So I'm going to read from it here. And she took the pitcher, went out to fill it with water, and behold, a voice saying, Hail, thou who hast received grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women. And she looked round, and on the right hand and on the left, to see whence this voice came. And she went away trembling to her house, and put down the pitcher. And taking the purple, she sat down on her seat, and drew it out. And behold, an angel of the Lord stood before her, saying, Fear not, Mary, for thou hast found grace before the Lord of all. And thou shalt conceive according to his word. And she, hearing, reasoned with herself, saying, Shall I conceive by the Lord, the living God? And shall I bring forth as every woman brings forth? And the angel of the Lord said, Not so, Mary, for the power of the Lord shall overshadow thee. Wherefore also that holy thing which shall be born of thee shall be called the Son of the Most High. And thou shalt call his name Jesus, for he shall save his people from their sins. And Mary said, Behold, the servant of the Lord before his face. Let it be unto me according to thy word. And she made the purple and scarlet, and took them to the priest. And the priest blessed her, and said, Mary, the Lord God hath magnified thy name, and thou shalt be blessed in all the generations of the earth. And Mary with great joy went away to Elizabeth, her kinswoman, and knocked at the door. And when Elizabeth heard her, she threw away the scarlet, and ran to the door, and opened it. And seeing Mary, she blessed her, and said, Whence is this to me, that the mother of my Lord should come to me? For behold, that which is in me leaped and blessed thee. But Mary had forgotten the mysteries of which the archangel Gabriel had spoken, and gazed up into heaven, and said, Who am I, O Lord, that all the generations of the earth should bless me? And she remained 3 months with Elizabeth, and day by day she grew bigger. And Mary, being afraid, went away to her own house, and hid herself from the sons of Israel. And she was 16 years old when these mysteries happened. So when me and Pengus were watching this, the Nativity story movie, this whole section took place, which is not canonical in the Bible. The scene where she meets Elizabeth, who is pregnant with John the Baptist, and John jumps inside of her when Mary comes near. It's an interesting scene, and you can see how it is a very, it's a very interesting story that could definitely be influential.
Yeah.
And sometimes you wonder, reading this stuff, it's like, why is the Book of Tobit there, but this isn't? I'm not totally sure, dude. And she was in her 6th month, and behold, Joseph came back from his building, and entered into his house, and he discovered that she was big with child. And he smote his face, and threw himself on the ground upon the sackcloth, and wept bitterly, saying, With what face shall I look upon the Lord my God, and what prayer shall I make about this maiden? Because I received her a virgin out of the temple of the Lord, and I have not watched over her. Who is it that has hunted me down? Who has done this evil thing in my house, and defiled the virgin? Has not the history of Adam been repeated in me? For just as Adam was in the hour of his singing praise, and the serpent came and found Eve alone, and completely deceived her, so it has happened to me also. And Joseph stood up from the sackcloth, and called Mary, and said to her, O thou who hast been cared for by God, why hast thou done this, and forgotten the Lord thy God? Why hast thou brought low thy soul? Thou that wast brought up by the holies of holies, and that didst receive food from the hand of an angel. And she wept bitterly, saying, I am innocent, and have known no man. And Joseph said to her, Whence then is that which is in thy womb? And she said, As the Lord my God liveth, I do not know whence it is to me. Here you have, like, an even more human characters in these people. Now, like, you have Joseph, who is kind of sus. He's suspicious about this whole thing when he sees his wife pregnant. And he beats himself in the face. Notice he doesn't beat her or anything. He's always a good man. And Joseph was greatly afraid, and retired from her, and considered what he should do in regard to her. And Joseph said, If I conceal her sin, I find myself fighting against the law of the Lord, and if I expose her to the sons of Israel, I'm afraid lest that which is in her be from an angel, and I shall be found giving up innocent blood to the doom of death. What then shall I do with her? I will put her away from me secretly. And night came upon him, and behold, an angel of the Lord appears to him in a dream, saying, Be not afraid for this maiden, for that which is in her is of the Holy Spirit, and she will bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name Jesus. for he will save his people from their sins. And Joseph arose from sleep and glorified the God of Israel, who had given him this grace, and he kept her. And Anas the scribe came to him and said, Why hast thou not appeared in our assembly? And Joseph said to him, Because I was weary from my journey, and rested the first day. And he turned and saw that Mary was with child. And he ran away to the priest, and said to him, Joseph, whom thou didst vouch for, has committed a grievous crime. And the priest said, How so? And he said, He has defiled the virgin whom he received out of the temple of the Lord, and has married her by stealth, and has not revealed it to the sons of Israel. And the priest answering said, Has Joseph done this? Then said Annas the scribe, Send officers, and thou wilt find the virgin with child. And the officers went away, and found it as he had said. And they brought her along with Joseph to the tribunal. And the priest said, Mary, why hast thou done this? And why hast thou brought thy soul low, and forgotten the Lord thy God? Thou hast what thou that wast reared in the holy of holies, and that didst receive food from the hand of an angel, and didst hear the hymns, and didst dance before him. Why hast thou done this? And she wept bitterly, saying, As the Lord my God liveth, I am pure before him, and know not a man. And the priest said to Joseph, Why hast thou done this? And Joseph said, As the Lord liveth, I am pure concerning her. Then said the priest, Bear not false witness, but speak the truth. Thou hast married her by stealth, and hast not revealed it to the sons of Israel, and hast not bowed thy head under the strong hand, that thy seed might be blessed. And Joseph was silent. Yeah, this definitely doesn't strike me as, I don't know, actual scripture by God.
Yeah.
At this point in my life, that's kind of how I feel. That's like how I judge all of this stuff that I read. Is like, does it spark joy? Huh. Does it spark joy?
What you would think?
Huh?
Real? Would you
What?
consider this being real, like raw?
I don't know. This,
You know what I mean? But
Gospel of James does not do it for me. I don't know. It's been around long enough and it's influential enough. It probably does it for someone. Not so much for me. I like some of the story that's happening here, but like, it all feels kind of long-winded, where I very rarely feel that about the Bible, unless I'm reading Chronicles. It's like reading the Book of Mormon. I feel like I'm reading someone trying to sound like the Bible, and like boring me. I don't know.
Perhaps.
I wouldn't write it off totally. I could keep reading. At least I want to find the part where Jesus is born. Let's get to the taxes here. There was an order from the Emperor Augustus that all in Bethlehem of Judea should be enrolled. And Joseph said, I shall enroll my sons, but what shall I do with this maiden? How shall I enroll her as my wife? I am ashamed. As my daughter then? But all the sons of Israel know that she is not my daughter. The day of the Lord shall itself bring it to pass, as the Lord will. And he saddled the ass and sent her upon it, and his son led it, and Joseph followed. And when they come within 3 miles, Joseph turned and saw her sorrowful, and he said to himself, Likely that which is in her distresses her. And again Joseph turned and saw her laughing, and he said to her, Mary, how is it that I see thy face at one time laughter, at another sorrow? And Mary said to Joseph, Because I see 2 peoples with my eyes, the one weeping and lamenting, and the other rejoicing and exulting. And they came into the middle of the road, and Mary said to him, Take me down from off the ass, for that which is in me presses to come forth. And he took her down from off the ass, and said to her, Whither shall I lead thee, and cover thy disgrace? For the place is desert. So she's seeing 2 figures. One is crying, and the other's rejoicing. I don't know. Something beautiful in that, definitely. And he found the cave there, and led her into it, and leaving his 2 sons beside her. And here's where the cave comes up. That's what I was saying. It's just a jumble in my mind.
More cave.
And leaving his 2 sons beside her, he went out to seek a widwife, I don't know, in the district of Bethlehem. And I, Joseph, was walking and was not walking, and I looked up into the sky and saw the sky astonished, and I looked up to the pole of the heavens and saw it standing, and the birds of the air keeping still. And I looked down upon the earth and saw a trough lying, and work people reclining, and their hands were in the trough. And those that were eating did not eat, and those that were rising did not carry it up, and those that were conveying anything to their mouths did not convey it, but the faces of all were looking upwards. And I saw the sheep walking, and the sheep stood still, and the shepherd raised his hand to strike them, and his hand remained up. And I looked upon the current of the river, and I saw the mouths of the kids resting on the water and not drinking. And all things in a moment were driven from their course. And I saw a woman coming down from the hill country, and she said to me, O man, whither art thou going? And I said, I am seeking a Hebrew midwife. And she answered and said unto me, Art thou of Israel? And I said to her, Yes. And she said, And who is it that is bringing forth in the cave? And I said, A woman betrothed to me. And she said to me, Is she not thy wife? And I said to her, It is Mary, that was reared in the temple of the Lord, and I obtained her by lot as my wife. And yet she is not my wife, but is conceived of the Holy Spirit. And the midwife said to him, Is this true? And Joseph said to her, Come and see. And the midwife went away with him, and they stood in the place of the cave. And behold, a luminous cloud overshadowed the cave. And the midwife said, My soul has been magnified this day, because mine eyes have seen strange things, because salvation has been brought forth to Israel. And immediately the cloud disappeared out of the cave, and a great light shone in the cave, so that the eyes could not bear it. And in a little that light gradually decreased, until the infant appeared, and went and took the breast from his mother Mary. And the midwife cried out and said, This is a great day to me, because I have seen this strange sight. And the midwife went forth out of the cave. And Salome, I think that's how that's said normally, I don't know. Salome met her, and said to her, Salome, Salome, I have a strange sight to relate to thee. A virgin has brought forth, a thing which her nature admits not of. And then said Salome, As the Lord my God liveth, unless I thrust in my finger and search the parts, I will not believe that a virgin has brought forth. Do you think maybe that's like the parts where they were like, I don't know if that goes in the Bible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel weird even reading that. And the midwife went in and said to Mary, Show thyself, for no small controversy has arisen about thee. And Salome put in her finger, and cried out, and said, Woe is me for mine iniquity, and mine unbelief, because I have tempted the living God, and behold, my hand is dropping off as if burned with fire. And she bent her knees before the Lord, saying, O God of my fathers, remember that I am the seed of Abraham, and Isaac, and Jacob. Do not make a show of me to the sons of Israel, but restore me to the poor. For thou knowest, O Lord, that in thy name I have performed my services, and that I have received my reward at thy hand. And behold, an angel of the Lord stood by her, saying to her, Salome, Salome, the Lord hath heard thee. Put thy hand to the infant, and carry it, and thou wilt have safety and joy. And Salome went and carried it, saying, I will worship him, because a great king has been born to Israel. And behold, Salome was immediately cured, and she went forth out of the cave justified. And behold, a voice saying, Salome, Salome, tell not the strange thing thou hast seen until the child is come into Jerusalem. Yeah, so that's fucking weird. I glanced over all this stuff, and I didn't really put all that together. That's a weird story. Should I summarize it, or should I not even bother?
It's pretty fucking weird. I mean,
I wouldn't repeat it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is why this stuff's not in the Bible. That story's gross, dude.
Yep.
Should I keep reading this about the Magi?
Yes.
And behold, Joseph was ready to go into Judea. And there was a great commotion in Bethlehem of Judea, for Magi came, saying, Where is he that is born King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east, and have come to worship him. And when Herod heard, he was much disturbed, and sent officers to the Magi. And he sent for the priests, and examined them, saying, How is it written about the Christ, where he is to be born? And they said, Bethlehem of Judea, for so it is written. And he sent them away, and examined the Magi, saying to them, What sign have you seen in reference to the king that has been born? The Magi said, We have seen a star of great size, shining among these stars, and obscuring their light, so that the stars did not appear, and we thus knew that a king had been born in Israel. And we have come to worship him. And Herod said, Go and seek him, and if you find him, let me know, in order that I may also go and worship him. Herod wants to kill baby Jesus. I don't know if everyone's aware of that. Herod's
Yeah, he's an asshole. Yep. What an asshole.
And the Magi went out, and behold, the star which they had seen in the east went before them until they came to the cave, and it stood over top of the cave. And the Magi saw the infant with his mother Mary, and they brought forth from their bag gold and frankincense and myrrh. And having been warned by the angel not to go into Judea, they went into their own country by another road. And when Herod knew that he had been mocked by the Magi, in a rage he sent murderers, saying to them, "Slay the children from 2 years old and under." And Mary, having heard that the children were being killed, was afraid, and took the infant and swaddled him, and put him into an ox stall. And Elizabeth, having heard that they were searching for John, took him, and went up into the hill country, and kept looking where to conceal him. And there was no place of concealment. And Elizabeth, groaning with a loud voice, said, "O mountain of God, receive mother and child." And immediately the mountain was cleft and received her. And the light shone about them, for an angel of the Lord was with them and watching over them. This is definitely going on some tangent. That's the Gospel of James, everyone. It's gross.
Yep.
That's why it's not in the Bible. Should have thought about that, dude. What do we got next? The Gospel of Pseudo-Matthew.
Pseudo-Matthew.
This one is usually dated to around 600 AD. 600 AD. We're getting later as we go on here. So we already got, like, the fiery coochie or whatever's going on in the previous one. This is why I don't believe every story. Odd.
Fiery coochie.
Okay.
Dude, some coochies be straight fire though. For real, for real.
I don't want to read this at all. This is how silly this gets, dude. Gospel of Pseudo-Matthew. Now it's called Pseudo-Matthew, so you already know it's not actually Matthew. Granted. So, how do I even describe this? How can I sum this up? This is literally, like, said to be a dialogue from, like, letters sent from, like, Saint Jerome to somebody else. I don't even know who Saint Jerome is. Why does he belong in the Bible?
What to think.
Why do I believe every story again? I'm not sure about all this. I don't even want to read this. That guy doesn't belong in my Bible.
He was one of the early priests.
That's cool. Does that mean he belongs in the Bible? I don't think so. We're getting a little far out here, dude. Then,
Alright, guys,
we're wrapping this up too. So yeah, Flame.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas. I got one more I want to talk about, and then we'll totally wrap this thing down. I just want to. I guess I'm like BTFOing mod. I'm not sure what I'm doing right now.
I don't know. I like the stream. It's pretty good.
We have the Syriac Infancy Gospel, also known as the Arabic Infancy Gospel. This one is like dated from 1300 AD. It's in Arabic. What's the deal with that, mod? You explain yourself.
I'm not Arab, so I would know.
Nobody wants to read that.
How's it different?
What?
How's it different? Like,
Alright,
how's
let's
the
read
Arabic one
Wikipedia.
different?
I don't feel like reading like the full ass thing here, dude. So let's.
In Arabic?
Yeah, I'll read it in Arabic.
Yeah,
Read it in
Spark
Arabic.
Note. Spark Notes. Put the Spark Notes on.
All right, you're making me do the work here. Hold up, let's do it then. Skip ahead a little bit here. We find what follows in the book of Joseph the high priest who lived in the time of Christ. Some say that he is Caiaphas. He has said that Jesus spoke, and indeed, when he was lying in his cradle, said to Mary his mother, "I am Jesus, the Son of God, the Logos, whom thou hast brought forth, and the angel Gabriel announced to thee, and my Father has sent me for the salvation of the world." Is that like some like Quran stuff? That he's speaking in his cradle?
Yeah, I've heard that.
No, he spoke. He spoke when Mary came out after birthing him, and people were questioning Mary and calling her slurs, basically. And Jesus said that yes. Baby Jesus was like, yes, my mother is a virgin, and anybody who slanders her is gonna go to hell.
Nice.
Anyway.
So, yeah, in the 309th year of the era of Alexander, Augustus put forth an edict that every man should be enrolled in his native place, and Joseph therefore arose and taking Mary his spouse went away to Jerusalem, came to Bethlehem to be enrolled along with his family in his native city, and having come to a cave, Mary told Joseph that the time of birth was at hand, and she could not go into the city. But, said she, let us go into this cave. This took place at sunset, and Joseph went out in haste to go for a woman to be near her. When therefore he was busy about that, he saw a Hebrew old woman belonging to Jerusalem, and said, Come hither, my good woman, and go into this cave, in which there is a woman near her time. Is this just a retelling of James? That's how it feels.
Sounds like it, kinda.
Probably.
Honestly, the more I read this, I feel like it is a retelling of James from almost an Islamic perspective, from a culturally Islamic perspective. That's kind of how this feels to me. Wherefore, after sunset, the old woman and Joseph with her came to the cave. They both went in, and behold, it was filled with lights more beautiful than the gleaming of lamps and candles, and more splendid than the light of the sun. The child, enwrapped in swaddling clothing, was sucking the breast of the Lady Mary, his mother, being placed in a stall. And when both were wondering at this light, the old woman asks the Lady Mary, Art thou the mother of this child? And when the Lady Mary gave her assent, she says, Thou art not at all like the daughters of Eve. The Lady Mary said, My son has no equal among children, so his mother has no equal among women. I don't like that. It almost sounds like pride coming from Mary, and I understand from the context that it's not, but I like all these characters when they're more human, when I can relate to them.
Oh.
More human than being arrogant at times.
But the thing is, the further you go back, the more human they become.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but it's a statement of fact.
What?
She's just stating fact.
I don't think
That's
that's... I mean... Yeah, you could say that. I don't know. I think it's much more complicated
In
than
her defense, she's being accused of something she did not do.
I agree, but if I'm accused of something, I don't say I have no equal among men.
Oh, I say that all the time.
Did you just give birth to Jesus?
I hear you, but there's a big jump from defending yourself to there is no equal among anyone. I am the best.
Let me tell you, in Islam, Mary is accounted one of the 4 perfect women who were infallible.
Jesus is the only person I'm willing to even ascribe that characteristic to.
Okay, but that might be part of the Arab tradition.
I mean, there's an element of that in Catholicism, but Catholicism wouldn't even say she was infallible. They might, like, I could see that being in Catholicism, like no equal among women. I could see that, but not totally infallible.
There's a lot of literature that kind of.
I know that. I'm reading some. I know there is, but I don't think that's the general consensus, though, that she was infallible for her entire life.
No, I mean, she was still a woman.
Yeah, she's still a person. Yeah.
I think it's important that in Christianity, as I see it, that Jesus was the only one who was perfect. He was the lamb that was without blemish, and had to be sacrificed.
But the thing is like, the story of Mary as well. Like in Catholicism, they have they the Sacred Heart, Jesus with the Sacred Heart. But you also have Mary. Her heart is depicted with 7 daggers in it, the 7 sorrows of the mother. You know, like these concepts as well are kind of ingrained in the nurturing nature of a mother, and how being a woman and being a mom, seeing her son go through that kind of shit, that's some painful, deep shit, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't really know that I have to read more of this. It does seem like it's just a mix of different sources that we're all kind of aware of. I've read some of them. Yeah, I think it's fucking past 4 a.m. here, and I think it's time to get ready for
Yeah.
Christmas, yo. We gotta sleep sometime.
Yep. I'll see
With
you
that,
guys.
I think I'm gonna play us out. I'm gonna
Yeah.
play us out with some Bad Religion, dude. Hold up.
Yeah,
Hell
I'm pretty
yeah,
fucking
dude.
tired.
I am stoked, dude. It's gonna be a great day, dude, and y'all are gonna have a great day. With your
Merry
families.
Merry
Thanks to
Christmas.
Jesus. All thanks to Jesus, dude. Once again.
Praise Jesus.
All praise to you. One more drink. My boy Jesus. Merry Christmas, everybody. Everybody in the chat. Everybody who stuck it out. Everybody who did it.
Told me pa-rum-pa-pum-pum. A newborn king to see pa-rum-pa-pum-pum.
Thank you, everybody. Merry Christmas, boys.
Latest gifts we bring pa-rum-pa-pum-pum. To lay before the king pa-rum-pa-pum-pum. Rum-pa-pum-pum. Rum-pa-pum-pum. So to honor him pa-rum-pa-pum-pum. When we come, little baby pa-rum-pa-pum-pum. I am a poor boy too pa-rum-pa-pum-pum. I have no gift to bring pa-rum-pa-pum-pum. That's fit to give the king pa-rum-pa-pum-pum. Rum-pa-pum-pum. Rum-pa-pum-pum. Then he smiled at me pa-rum-pa-pum-pum. Me and my drum. Me and my drum.